So that's a good thing.
Good morning, pop culture.
And now I can hear myself talking.
So it's the first show of the week. It's Tuesday morning. We've already made it through the Mondays, so that's it.
Oh, I gotta love echo and technical difficulties. Just when I thought I had it figured out, I look like a dick. So where are we at? Boom. There we go. Now let's do this properly. So it's Tuesday morning. It's the first episode of Good Morning Pop Culture, and we're still kind of reeling from Monday. How was your guys' weekends? Do anything fun? Do anything exciting? You heard me basically have the highlight of my weekend on air. So, as people are rolling in, we'll wait a minute. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to the charming curmudgeon. Thank you very much, Hamster Snake, for your super chat. Good morning, Jeff. Well, good morning to you, Hamster Snake. Greatly appreciated. So, obviously, we're going to talk about yesterday's news, which was mind-blowing. Maybe Grace Randolph is good for something after all. It's nice to have those kind of connections. Good morning from the UK. Good morning or afternoon from the UK. Good morning from Australia. Hello, Derek. Just because you're new doesn't mean we don't appreciate having you. All right. So we're almost to our number, 200. As soon as we hit 200 viewers, we talk about the story of the day, and then we get the show rolling. Good borking from Sweden. Well, thank you, King Eric. I'll use my name, Bjorn Peterson, and order a pizza in your honor. Somebody drove the Going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park on Saturday. Now, that sounds like a lot of fun. I went to breakfast and bought a T-shirt. Yay. Yeah, that's my life. Off air is not as fun as on air. Grace Randolph has clickbait lies. Maybe normally, but I don't think she could get away with making this shit up. At best, she'll go, oh, I was mistaken. But if she does, people that have reported her news aren't the ones that could be accused of making up stuff. So, all right, Logan Michael, thank you again. Hello, I missed out on the last two streams because I didn't get any notifications. Even though I'm subscribed, I've turned the bell on. I've noticed that we've kind of taken a hit in terms of viewership and stuff like that because people aren't getting the notifications live. So I apologize that you guys aren't getting the word when we go live at the moment, but that is out of my control. So all I can tell you is that I will be here at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. So what is that, 4:45 in the morning for you? So if you're up that early, hit your alarms, and I will be live Tuesday through Friday here on the channel. So we're not going away anywhere, or we're not going anywhere. So it's like when we talk about the high councils every Tuesday, it's always going to be Tuesday at 9 p.m. Speaking of the high council, thank you very much, Daniel Stone, for your super chat. First live stream. You are great on the high council. Well, I appreciate that, and I hope you enjoy your first experience to my own private live stream where I just talk about the news and pop culture and drink coffee. And tonight, make sure everyone's watching the High Council here on World Class Bullshitters. I want to make sure the numbers are the highest they've ever been because we have a guest, Doomcock from Overlord DVD. So you're going to get the best episode of the High Council you've ever had. If 4 people last week you thought was too much, well, wait till you hear this week with these 4 people. It's going to be a game changer. Again, thank you very much, Logan Michael, for your damn it YouTube. Well, blame YouTube for that. But YouTube's trying to do all kinds of stuff to change up their platform and give us a bigger voice. So me being who I am, I have the opportunity to take part in some YouTube minority program. So I guess I'm going to get to play the game against all these random SJW people. So make sure you guys check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not changing who I am, and I hope you don't change who you are. Wait, is Cecil here? People are talking about Cecil. Yep, Cecil is here. You know, Cecil, send me a message on Twitter. I might have you on in a little bit for a segment of the news. That could be a lot of fun. And thank you, Zed15 or Zedis. I don't know how you're going to say that. Rugis, she will not be on tonight. So we're just doing a rotating 4th person for a while. to play with the chemistry. Thank you, Warren. I'm glad you enjoy the commentaries. I'll definitely do more film commentaries. We're actually trying to work out a list. We got about 30 or 40 we want to do because they're so much fun. We get to watch movies, talk to you guys about the movies, and make sure you guys watch tomorrow night's live stream where we hang out with the patrons for a couple hours and talk about anything they want. So if you're a patron, make sure you're available because at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go live. So we have 300 people in here. Let's talk about the Star Wars rumors. Kathleen Kennedy's time is nearing an end? Question mark. First off, though, thank you, Logan Michael. My closing Toys R Us has 2 Rose Ticos left. Well, Logan Michael, my closing Toys R Us, the one I went to on Saturday, had 50 Jyn Erso figures, and I have a video of that. So if you guys would like to see that, press F, and I'll make that happen. We should interview an SJW. I'll interview anyone. I've tried to reach out to people like Grace Randolph, Mundane Matt, anybody. I'll interview anybody here on World Class Bullshitters, and we can have a discussion, and you guys can ask the questions, and we'll leave it like that for them. All are welcome here on World Class Bullshitters. A lot of Fs. Okay, I'll make that video. I'm working on a big one, and I'll work on that too. One thing you guys noticed, I've been doing a lot of the streams and stuff, and we've been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff as well. So there's been, we're working on the Discord server for those who want to be involved. We've been trying to get more stuff for Patreon. I've been trying to do the back-end stuff for the merchandise that people request, like the Good Morning Pop Culture mugs and shit like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the summer of World Class Bullshitters, so make sure you guys are a part of it. So, let roast Campia. I think I already roasted John Campia well enough. That guy is flailing. He's flailing. All right, so let's talk about this, and then I'm going to talk about Nico Purasinen's tweet about, or message about how Kathleen Kennedy's husband liked the tweet. Gary Marshall. Gary Marshall's been involved with a lot of stuff for a long time. So this comes from Dork Side of the Force. Never really used them as a source before. But the Star Wars rumor onslaught continues, this time with the future of Kathleen Kennedy, who may be on her way out as president of Lucasfilm. One could be forgiven for thinking that every day brings another series of speculation about the state of Lucasfilm and the status of the Star Wars franchise in general. Movie projects are shuffled around, postponed, and your favorite characters are said to be appearing in unusual places. Well, get your salt shakers ready, because we got one more rumor to report to you. This from popular YouTube critic and commentator Grace Randolph of Beyond the Trailer. Citing unnamed sources at Pinewood Studios, where most of Star Wars films are shot, Randolph states that a recent conference call was held between Disney head honcho Bob Iger and the whole Lucasfilm top brass. Of the wide array of topics covered, the changing out of Kathleen Kennedy as head of Lucasfilm was high on the docket. Apparently, Iger is displeased with the current disharmonious state of the Star Wars union and is looking to find new blood in an effort to reconnect with the spurned core fanbase. The stated goal, returning the Jedi to the full 4-quadrant appeal. Randolph states, however, that the many persons approached to take the reins at Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams among them, nobody stepped up to the plate. She concluded the current regime is likely to stay in place until an heir makes themselves apparent. Additionally, the subject of an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie was discussed, and a retroactive consensus reached that Obi-Wan should have bowed before Solo, a Star Wars story. This is a surprise to very few fans anywhere. So that is an update on the situation. We've covered that yesterday in our live stream. We went live as soon as I found out about it. Kind of a off-the-cuff stream, but I had to talk about it as soon as I found out. Daniel Stone, hit the like button. Yes, everyone hit the like button. And thank you, Daniel Stone, for your continued support, as well as the kind word from earlier. I don't know who Josh Makuga is, so I'd have to do some research on him. I mean, if he's some crazy guy, I don't know. Could the viewers join you in a live stream? Well, Logan Michael, I'm pretty sure you're a patron, so you can join me on Wednesday night. So there you go. I mean, it's for anyone that's $1 and up. It's not about money. It's just a thank you for those who have gone out of their way to help World Class Bullshitters. So I hope you can make yourself available, and we'll be on for a couple hours. So there is no reason you couldn't join us unless you're at work. But don't worry, we'll get you on here. So it's interesting, the current situation at Lucasfilm. There's two things that I find quite interesting on the whole situation. First off, that Iger's having this discussion, and secondly, that no one is willing to take Kathleen's place. Someone in yesterday's stream said it should be scary because the power of ideology out in Hollywood trumps the desire to elevate yourself in a business sense. Now, if I had a job at Disney, I would have been the first person to recommend that I take the job. Yeah, I'm cocky, but I do love Star Wars, and I think that I have a good enough idea of what to do to appeal to old and new fans. I live by the theory that there's a reason the old movies have survived this long, and that people of every generation can go back and find those movies and become fans. Young and old. I know we have some young listeners here on the channel that like the old Star Wars movies. I wasn't even born for any of them, and I found them in a generation that Star Wars wasn't considered cool. I know a lot of people want to think, oh, Star Wars was always cool because it's currently popular. Not the case. From, honestly, up till the prequels came out, Star Wars was kind of looked down on, oh, you're a Star Wars fan? Ugh. Like in the 90s, Power Rangers were cool, Ninja Turtles were still kind of cool. You had people that were really into sports all of a sudden. Pokemon was cool, but Star Wars was always kind of like the other brand for kids. You had the merchandise and all this stuff that you could consume as a child, but you didn't have a ton of, or at least I didn't, and I went to a private school, which, you know, whatever, people gave me shit for, but those kids weren't into Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy disliked the video. Hey, Kathleen Kennedy, that's your prerogative. You can dislike everything I do, but 60,000 people like what I do, and that's pretty much guaranteed to be more than your approval rate anywhere you do. Dragon Ball Z was the shit. Yeah, it was the shit. I was born in 92, whole decades after the original trilogy was released. Well, Gamepad 31, you and I are closer in age than you realize. Born in 88, so 4 years, and still in the 90s, it was a nerdy thing to be into Star Wars. Now, it was cool around 95, 96 when the toy line hit full force, and there was just a whole wall of Star Wars toys at my local Toys R Us. Felt pretty good then. But I've always liked what I liked. I didn't care if it was cool or not. Logan Michael says, what type of mic do you use? I don't know if I need one for Wednesday. I have a condenser mic. By the way, because of everyone that's been helping the channel out, I purchased a new mic, which I'm going to work on adjusting today and debut tonight on the High Council, and then that will be my mic going forward. It's a nice Blue Yeti microphone. I currently use an 037 condenser mic, which was like $40. You know, when I started the show, I had no money whatsoever. So if that's something you can afford, awesome. If you have a gaming headset, you can hook that up to your PC as well. So it's just as long as you, some people call in on their phones as well, just as long as there's not a lot of background noise and you're legible, we can make it work. So listen to the last time's live stream with the fans and you'll see the range and quality, but it's really just about you guys talking to me and hanging out and having questions. So we can make it work no matter what. People are saying about Dave Filoni that wants to take it and Bob Iger won't go for it. I wonder why Bob Iger wouldn't go for Dave Filoni. You want to recapture the goodwill of the fans, young and old. It doesn't really matter if I'm 29 or somebody else is 79. If they're a longtime fan of Star Wars, you want to just keep them around because, like Grace Randolph said, the old audience and the kids are the ones that buy the merchandise, and Star Wars lives and dies by its merchandise health. And if you're a fan of this channel, you definitely know how piss poor the merchandise has been received, created, produced, distributed. It's a weird time for Star Wars. They're failing on every front. Like I've said before, it's not like the movies are great and the toys are shit, or the toys are great and the movies are shit. Toys are shit, movies are shit, games are shit. The production company is in the shit. Maybe Bob Iger is right about not enough experience, but Kathleen Kennedy, I don't think, has enough experience in the creative department. We go back and look at her history. She is usually an executive producer. So we looked up what an executive producer does, and she's focused on the money. By the way, quick side note, I don't know if it's just me, but I love my favorite movies just a little less when I have to see Kathleen Kennedy's name on it. So her name's on Back to the Future. Her name's on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Ugh, I hate her name. Ace, I agree with you 100%. I want a swashbuckling adventure with Luke Skywalker. Or I wanted that with The Last Jedi. I don't get what the purpose is to actively anger the fans. You know, there will be some sort of textbook written down the road. I took a class on film study, and I've taken business classes, and there will be a case study down the road. Hell, maybe I'll conduct it with all you people, and we'll figure out something. It'll be basically about how The Last Jedi was a failure in marketing and brand dilution, and it would be quite an interesting piece to write about if I had the time and knew how to go about getting it published or at least looked at by a lot of people. I would take the time. The numbers are there. The fan response can be gauged in the numbers. Oh, left my phone on. Sorry about that. The fan response can be gauged. All kinds of things can be figured out from The Last Jedi. King Eric, yeah, you did a super chat about the VR game. What do you think could put Star Wars fanbase back together? Obi-Wan standalone, The Last Jedi being remade, Flex Tape? Well, if you know who JonTron is, Flex Tape can't do everything. God, I just really like JonTron's videos. Obi-Wan Kenobi is a right start. I think first what you should do, or they should do, is really get rid of the brass at Lucasfilm. All of them. All the people of the story group. Not like the people that answer the phones or get coffee or do basic undertasks, but you got to get rid of the people who have the creative voice. Pablo Hidalgo, all those people. You also get rid of your Chuck Wendigs, even though he's just a freelance writer. You get rid of anyone that doesn't promote a positive corporate image. I think positivity in this day and age is smart. You know, they're worried about being woke and all these other things. Why don't you worry about not shitting on your fans and having a nice veneer of professionalism? So first thing I would do is that. Then I would go forward with an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, and I would make it balls to the wall awesome. Like I said on yesterday's stream, for like a lot of people, for me, if I'm making this movie, you started out with the traditional Star Wars crawl. I don't care if it's an anthology movie. Give it the crawl. How cool would that be? That music always gets you pumped. Then you cut to Mustafar, and it's the battle on Mustafar where Obi-Wan and you basically played the last couple minutes of episode 3. You can even use the footage, or you can reshoot it and do interesting things, different takes, whatever. But then you show Obi-Wan leave Luke, and then it shows Obi-Wan, go off, and then maybe it picks up maybe 2 or 3 years later, or 10 years later, who knows. But basically what you do is you follow Obi-Wan, but you never make him a weak character. Don't worry about having your female love interest. You can just have it to where, like, I don't think Logan had a love interest. Logan took care of that little kid. Luke can be that little kid that Obi-Wan watches from the shadows, because he doesn't remember. Luke doesn't know who Obi-Wan is. And Obi-Wan's like, he's just a crazy old wizard or whatever. Just make it that. Make it like a Western style thing. Make it be cool. That could be the first step in the right direction. And then you up your Star Wars merchandise. You figure out your distribution problems. You basically have them treat it like Marvel. You don't really try to push the characters people don't want. Quick side detour into the toys. If you pay attention to the toys, they come out in cases. So there's not a case of Darth Vader and a case of Stormtroopers and a case of this and a case of that. It's called like a case mix or whatever. So you'll have like 2 Han Solos, 2 Jyn Ersas, 2 Reys, 2 this, 2 that, 2 that. But they keep pumping out these cases that have like old versions of Rey and Jyn Erso, figures that they've overproduced and are trying to sell. Basically give the toy line, I hate to say it, but cut out the useless chick figures. So no more Rose Ticos, no more Jyn Ersos. Only put 1 Rey if she's in a movie appropriate line, and sell on the other shit. Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, this, that, and the other. And get people, just put out figures people are going to buy up no matter who they are. Market that. And don't worry about growing it that way. Build up your brand recognition. Get a new generation of people into what's already there, and then grow outwardly from there. So I know that was a long way. I apologize. That's a long answer. I don't know if splitting episode 9 into 2 movies can fix 8. I'm not trying to be, overtly negative to be negative, but I don't think episode 8 can ever be fixed. Rian Johnson ruined it. Rian Johnson just made Star Wars something it wasn't supposed to be. Truly hated. I know people like to use the prequels as the argument, but the prequels didn't ruin the originals. You could always go back to those. You never had a sense of, oh, this is what happened next. Let's see what's popping up. A Darth Vader movie you think would bring back the franchise? I think a Darth Vader movie could be cool. I was on a show last night that hasn't released yet. It's called The Deplorable Batcave. Give those guys a subscribe if you want to hear me on there. They only have 50 subscribers, but they reached out to me multiple times, and it was a really fun, enlightening chat. So if you want to hear it, It'll be out soon, and I'll tweet out about it. But I discussed a Darth Vader film in terms of Darth Vader is the string that ties together all the Star Wars anthology movies, like how Agent Coulson was in all the old Marvel movies in Phase 1. Have Darth Vader be a presence there and make him feared, and whenever his name is said, people like are quiet type of thing. I think you could use Darth Vader in that effect. And then when you do see him, Darth Vader, much like Chewbacca, is a dude in a suit. And with today's technology, there's no way they couldn't augment a voice to sound like James Earl Jones, because James Earl Jones' voice sounds a little weird. Don't get the guy from the video games, Matt, from, what is that, Blame Society Films. Get a black dude with a similar voice to James Earl Jones, modulate the shit out of it, and make it so. I want a Rian Johnson voodoo doll as well. I think that would be a fantastic toy. You would basically have a perfectly round-headed doll, and it comes with a set of lightsaber pins. So every time you realize he ruined Luke Skywalker, pin to the shoulder, pin to the arm. Good morning to you, gamer Leroy Experiment, as well. We're on the same time zone, so there you go. Vader did sound old in Rogue One. Vader sounded feeble. I think Vader sounds the best, obviously, in the original ones. I'd say Vader sounds the best in Empire. There's something about his performance. You know, you don't know the power of the dark side. Like, it's just so overly dramatic and fun. I think Star Wars forgot that it's supposed to be entertaining and fun. I feel like most entertainment now is trying to be something. It's not too preachy, too overtly not sanctimonious. What's the word I want to use? We'll just stick with overly preachy, and they take away the element of fun. And that's also why these movies don't do well. Like, we could honestly come up with a top 10 reasons why Lucasfilm is failing on the Star Wars front. And one of the top ones would be Star Wars is always meant to be escapist entertainment, not make you feel bad about who you are. George Lucas understood people. I think he went back and appreciated the classic storytelling aspects. So Rian Johnson doesn't. Shamaniac, you want to talk Batmans with me sometime? We can make that happen. We got to find a time. If you're one of our patrons, come on for any of the Batman commentaries, with the exception of The Dark Knight, because our friend Michael Scambotti's on that one. We're open to tons of Batman talk. We can go hours. Like, I don't care if 4 people are listening. I will talk about Batman with you all day, because Batman is my second favorite character in comic books. Logan Michael, thank you very much again. What equipment would I need to chat with you guys on the stream on Wednesday? You need a laptop or some sort of PC connected to the internet, and I'm sure you have that now. And then you would need, laptops have built-in microphones. You may sound like you're underwater, but we'll be able to hear you. Don't go out and buy a bunch of crap. If you have access to a USB mic or a USB headset, just plug that into your laptop and you'll be good to go. Same thing with anyone else that's planning on joining. I'm not really going to be a super stickler for, oh, you sound slightly different. Like, you just can't have anything playing in the background or no echo, because that kind of turns people off. But remember, this is about you guys. This is our monthly thank you as a hangout where we can talk about anything. So it's not about the view count. It's just about hanging out. So Logan Michael, just bring yourself and whatever you have access to, and I think you'll be fine. Noah R., thank you again for your super chat. Love the morning streams. Hope you're doing well. Well, Noah, I'm doing very well. As you guys can see, the channel's doing well. Personal life's awesome. Have no complaints. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm going to pump out more of our videos because I want to get a video that hits over 1 million views. We're so close with the other one. That's the one thing I do have over the High Council, guys. They do get a lot of people watching their streams and stuff like that, but I almost got 1 million views on a video in a month. So I'm really proud of that one, and I'd like to see that grow. And I think that video has reached not the people necessarily at the top know my name, but they know about the situation. And with those kind of numbers, people in California and Lucasfilm have to know something is up. They can't deny it anymore. But thank you, Noah R. And I'm glad you're still around. You've been with us for, 3 years almost? Since the very beginning. I guess I consider you our first fan. So it's cool that no matter where you are in life, you still make time for world-class bullshitters. Another one from Reed Palancia. Thank you very much. A great day to you and all your fans. And a good day to you too, sir. And that was a big Lebowski reference. I hope you are a man or not. That's a great movie. That would be a fun live stream. That could get a whole different type of audience. Give us the cringe on the High Council, please. Well, Trevor Jar Com or Jerry Com, if you email me, worldclassbs@mail.com, a link to who this person is, I'll do research because we're all responsible for our own weeks. So I'd have to find out who that is first before I could say yes or no or give you a date on when they would appear. Logan Michael, thank you again for your super chat. His favorite Secret Wars figure. My favorite Secret Wars figure, I guess, would be Symbiote Spider-Man because it's the most accurate. I'm a stickler for detail, a bear for detail, as Fletch would say. Dio Brondo, did I see your other super chat? If you would tag me in a message like this again with it, I'll gladly read it on air. I apologize if I missed it. I didn't think that we had that many rolling in this early in the morning. And, oh, here we go. Sorry, here we go. Dio Brondo, KK produced Roger Rabbit, and it hurts knowing that. There we go. There's your super chat. It does. I'm not necessarily emotionally tied to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but I like Back to the Future. It does hurt me to see her name on something. And I also missed a Logan Michael super chat. What will the phone number be introduced on Wednesday? I have to go pick up the phone. I haven't had a chance to go to like Metro PCS or something. I'm just picking up like a burner phone essentially, so you guys can call in. So when I get that, I will be putting that in the about section of each video, and it'll be available for everyone. Getting back to the bottom. Thanks for being patient. Another one from Logan Michael. Thank you very much. Sorry to ask again about Wednesday, but will there be a phone number for the Hangout on Wednesday? No, there will not be a phone number for the Patreon Hangout. That'll just be calling in on here. You'll actually be on the show for everyone. I just got to figure out the situation. There's a show I watch called The Joe Cronin Show where people call in and the phone answers it on Skype and all this stuff. And I'd like to figure that out. But if I can't get, I haven't heard back from him. I know he's seen the message weeks ago. I guess he doesn't want to either help me out or something. I don't know. But I'll figure that out in greater detail later and give you guys that heads up. Thank you, David G. I think you're sexy too. The dark side is strong with Kathleen Kennedy. Am I going to play Fallout 76? Eventually, I'll give Fallout a chance. I like the concept of the game. I like number 3 in New Vegas. But if you guys want content like this, I don't think I can do gaming. Unless I do like a Twitch stream, and that way we're doing gaming and that. So if you guys want more, if you guys would like a Twitch stream from World Class Bullshitters, something where I do this with gaming, press F, and I can make it happen. I just got to know the audience is there, because I will take the time. Will Cecil be there on Wednesday? If everyone on the stream requests Cecil, I figure, and Cecil's available, we can make Cecil happen. Cecil's a cool guy in my book, and I always enjoy him. I know Ethan can't stand him, but World Class Bullshitters support Cecil. Eat, pray, Cecil. Okay, I'm seeing the F's roll in for the Twitch streaming World Class Bullshitters. Somebody wants to know, did I enjoy the Arkhamverse games? Yes, I enjoyed Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. I know I'm in the minority here, but I really loved Arkham Knight for a couple of reasons, and let me tell you why. One, I got to play as Michael Keaton Batman with Kevin Conroy's voice. That's my dream Batman. And I got the 89 Batmobile. Secondly, I loved the map. Graphics were awesome. There were levels that were as big as other video games were, and they were just small portions of the map, especially the movie studio. I thought that was one of the best parts in any Batman game. When the Joker sang a song about I'm laughing and stuff, and you're dying and I'm laughing, I loved it. Yeah, the Bat Tank scenes were a little much, and the ending was a little predictable with Jason Todd. Spoiler, if you haven't read a Batman comic, how'd you not see that coming? But overall, I'm a big Batman fan, and I appreciated that game. Man, a wall of Fs. There we go. You want me to Twitch Arkham City? I guess I'd have to hook up my PS3 for that because I have it on there, and I have the first two on PS3 and the last one on PS4. And I know there's Arkham, was it Origins or some shit, but I didn't play that. That's not for me. Dio Brando says, we need a Wrestling High Council with Razor Fist on as a permanent member. I like that idea, and I like Razor Fist quite a bit. I've had him on twice, and he's always been very polite, very cordial, very easy to get to, very accessible. So I respect that, and I love his content. So we could try to work something out. I know wrestling's not everyone's cup of tea on the channel, and that's fine. I'm not going to turn World Class Bullshitters into a WWF podcast, but it wouldn't hurt to have that outlet because we do cover all forms of entertainment. Like, eventually, when the Star Wars well dries up, we're still going to be here kicking ass because I love all entertainment. Star Wars just so happens to be the thing that I'm most passionate about because they're ruining it. If they ruin James Bond or Indiana Jones, I'm going to be here in the same way. Those films have reached a lot of people, and James Bond has a huge jump of almost 15 years in terms of audience appeal. And in many ways that people don't think about it, everyone says, oh, Star Wars was the first of merchandise. No, James Bond beat Star Wars in terms of merchandise. And I know people, oh, what would they have? They had dolls, they had action figures, they had toy cars, they had slot car sets, they had 007 alcohol, 007 swimwear, 007 cologne, towels, you name it. James Bond really was the first one to do the merchandising before Star Wars. Not to the same level, not the same scale, but it was there. But we could do wrestling stuff. I'll get the other guys from World Class Bullshitters involved, like Dion, because that's my friendship. Our friendship was built on wrestling and Star Wars, and 10 years later, we're still buddies. So wrestling holds a very special place in my heart. Very generous super chat from Andrew Dale. Thank you very much. The money I would be sending to Star Wars is going to Jurassic World. Actually looking forward to the third movie with the way the second one ended. As I've said, I haven't really been a huge Jurassic World fan, but you're one of the few people I've heard tell me that they're excited for the next one based on this one. Over on our Facebook page, there's been a lot of like, it's not that good, it's not that good. Like I said, I'm probably never going to watch it, but I'll take your word for it as well as their word. It's interesting that something like that can inspire excitement in you. For me, the only movie that I'm excited for the sequel to would be either It, because I thought It was great, or I am excited for Avengers 4, minus this Brie Larson crap. But it is a good feeling, Andrew, to know like you're hotly anticipating a movie. I miss that feeling. Like I wish you guys could have known me like 12 years ago. The hype from Spider-Man 2 to number 3 was insane. I mean, I bought a ticket to Superman Returns because I had to see the Spider-Man trailer. And YouTube was new, but you didn't think to wait for YouTube. Or sometimes these companies just didn't put stuff on YouTube the way they do now. I mean, if you don't watch the Super Bowl, you can watch the commercials sometimes before the game airs. So I love the hype for a movie. It's a lot of fun. You get really into it. I mean, I shit you not. I was 18 when Spider-Man 2 or 3 came out in high school, and I was out at the mall, like, I don't know, a month or two before it came out, and I saw the novelization for the movie, and I went into the bookstore, and I bought it, and I sat down on a bench and read it for like 40 minutes while everyone else looked through the mall. Like, I was so into the story because of number 2 and that hype. So I hope your excitement, maybe it's not as high as mine was for Spider-Man 3. Hopefully it's not as low as Spider-Man 3 will leave you, because it took me a while to realize Spider-Man 3 was garbage, but I know those feelings, and they're fun. Let's see here. We had another super chat pop up. Thank you for all the good mornings, by the way. Logan Michael, could I use a desktop computer for Wednesday? Well, desktop computers don't traditionally have microphones built in, but if you have a way to record your voice on a desktop computer, yes, you are more than welcome to. Well, you obviously more welcome to, but you can definitely use that for you. Seen a lot of Johnny English 3 from Johnny 5. I heard they're remaking Short Circuit, so I hope you enjoy the Short Circuit remake. Happy Rusev Day to you too, sir. Am I a fan of Tolkien's universe? Sad to say, I am not. I saw the Fellowship of the Ring in theaters, and I fell asleep. And I know this sounds really bad, but when my mom took me to see it, we saw it at the Dollar Theater because, she wanted to do something and didn't want to spend a lot of money. And the fact that the very next day she was taking me to go see episode 2 at the big deluxe IMAX theater. So when I went to see Fellowship of the Ring, I was more focused on tomorrow night with Star Wars. Even if it was episode 2, it was Star Wars, man. And, I don't have those feelings anymore. You put me in front of any movie before episode 9, I'm probably going to like it more than episode 9. Yeah, Short Circuit remake is happening. Last night when I was on the Deplorable Batcave, we discussed off air 100 different movies that are getting remade. So that's happening. There are a lot of remakes. There are too many remakes, and there are a lot of superhero movies, but now's the time to make these superhero movies. I'm not trying to sell you guys on anything when I say this, but this is the golden era for superhero and comic book adaptations. Don't expect it to ever get better than this. We had it with Batman and the hype around Batman, but Batman was the only game in town. Then we had Spider-Man and the X-Men in the early 2000s. Batman came back, and then the MCU has kind of reigned supreme for the last decade or so, a little less. After this, though, it's kind of all downhill. DC, failed to launch with their own universe. Filoni for creative presence and Favreau for financial. Can we throw another guy on there to make it the trifecta of perfection? Favreau, Filoni, and Timothy Zahn. I think those three guys making Star Wars movies would be excellent. Because Lucasfilm put out an article talking about inclusion. And I don't ever advocate for, it's got to be all white guys making Star Wars. It's just got to be people that like Star Wars and know how to make a good movie, making Star Wars. If you noticed, all the Disney Star Wars movies have been directed by white guys. So, with that being said, their inclusionary tactics are garbage. But what I'm getting at is there was an article that talked about how Lucasfilm runs a thing through a computer to see if people of color and minorities have so many words present in the movie. That doesn't make a good film. That's just a weird standard. What PC am I running? Just a laptop. I upgraded last year. The channel's starting to be successful now. So before, when I bought this new equipment, I didn't have a ton of money to my name. So, but I am running a Blue Yeti tomorrow, so that's going to be cool. And I'm going to try to get our internet upgraded this week. Did I like Buffy? I thought Sarah Michelle Gellar was hot in the 90s, but I didn't really watch the show. It wasn't even on late that I was in bed. I just was doing other stuff. I'd play video games until bed because I did my homework when I got home from school right away so I could stay up and play games. My mom's cool like that. Reed Palancia, again, thank you very much for your generous super chat. So many films in mainstream are made to a formula, and this includes having films at a certain length to maximize the number of showings. It cuts into storytelling and creativity some. Yes, I definitely know that there are certain things that they have to hit. A certain length is a problem, but sometimes a 90-minute movie is perfect. What was I watching recently that it flowed perfectly and then boom, it's over? It wasn't Star Wars The Last Jedi for sure, or Solo. And here's another thing, though. Infinity War was nearly 3 hours. Not once did I look at my watch and go, how much longer is this movie? I don't mean to kiss that movie's ass, but I really enjoyed it that much. I don't really go on about other new movies that come out this much, but man, that just got to me. It was just awesome. I had waited so long for this story to be told, and it was excellent. And it was long, and to me, that the pacing was perfect. I think Jumanji was rather short. Ready Player One, I don't know how long Ready Player One is. I liked that movie quite a bit, too. 2018 has been a weird year for me in terms of theater going. If you guys would have had this podcast back in 2012, I'd have been going to the theater every week, and you would have got a box office report, and it would have been, that kind of show. But that type of the restrictions do hinder creativity. I don't know what kind of box everyone has to play in, but at the same time, sometimes restrictions cause you to be more creative. Like Batman the Animated Series, there were certain elements of violence and things that they couldn't show because it was a kid's show, so they had to artistically depict it or imply it. Like with Robin's parents' death, they couldn't show them die, but they showed a silhouette or something fall in Robin's reckoning, and it was much more artistic and powerful. So I think it just has to do with the people who are involved with the film. If you don't have good people making a movie on every aspect, from a good script, good director, good actors, good editor, good score, you're going to fail. So we need to cover the creative base as well. But there is a formula out there, and it is ruining entertainment. Logan Michael, thank you very much again for your super chat. Why do we have bad Star Wars films? It's simple. Just make the fans just make what the fans want. That's true. It's not about what the fans want. Remember, like Joe Dirt, it's not about what you like. It's what the consumer likes, or the customer likes, whatever he says. That's how Star Wars should take it. J.J. Abrams said, I want to make a Star Wars movie that my daughter can enjoy. Well, show her the first Star Wars movie, J.J. Just because a girl isn't running around the desert with a stick doesn't make the first Star Wars movie not approachable for females. Look at Tina Fey. Tina Fey loves Star Wars. She grew up with the first one. Princess Leia is a great character. I say that so often that it's, when I look at my poster, I'm like, oh yeah, Princess Leia, great character. I don't get why they're failing on that front outside of they choose to. Their ego has gotten the best of them. Their hubris will be their downfall. PJ Santillo, Mauler on the High Council. Well, one thing about Mahler is Mahler's out of the UK, and there's a 5-hour time differential for us. So the High Council has to go live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that would be 3 a.m. for Mahler, and Mahler has a job that he would have to be to on Wednesday morning. So having Mahler on would be kind of a hard sell. If there's a time where Mahler's on vacation or there's a date that we can make it work, I'd love to have Mahler on. But I've given Mahler there's an open invitation to appear on our channel whenever he'd like. He's very busy with his own channel and doing his own work, but Mahler's always welcome on World Class Bullshitters. So if I can't get him on the High Council, I'll get him on for another stream here on the channel. Our last one with Razor Fist was legendary. I mean, we've reached so many people, and it was just so much fun. I would love to do that again. So we have a woman listener who says, as a girl, I loved Star Wars. I loved Luke. I didn't care that he was a guy. And I'm one of the modern millennial girls, too, which new movies allegedly cater to. Okay, so see, you're the example that they try to talk about. Oh, we need it for female audiences. The female audience was always there. I don't get it. All you're doing is pushing away the money. Maybe you don't need to cater to everything. Like, oh, we didn't see, this droid at this moment on this ship. Well, that's fine. But if you're still hitting everybody else for like the storytelling aspects, then I think you're good. Mika Curtis on the High Council. I don't know about that one. Maybe. Mika Curtis, a couple years ago, we were talking about Spider-Man, was kind of a douche to me. And you know what? My ego won't get the best of me. If enough people wanted Mika Curtis or Micah Curtis or however you pronounce his name, fine. I'm not too proud to have him on the show. Because, it's about entertainment. Real quick, Bridge, I will answer your thing in a moment, but Andrew Dale, thank you again for your super chat. Jurassic World 2 ended with the dinosaurs left loose on the world and not left on an island like the previous installment. A new direction of the series never been done. Okay, now you kind of got me interested, because if it's like the dinosaurs were in like Manhattan, hypothetically, and they're just on the rampage eating people, that could be kind of cool. So the third one would be like dinosaur hunters, so we're going to get like Turok and all those guys involved. That sounds like a cool concept. Maybe I'll check that one out if the trailer doesn't suck and they're not just trying to sell me Jeff Goldblum. And I love Jeff Goldblum, by the way. All respect to him. But when you say Jeff Goldblum's in this movie, I don't go, oh my God, Jeff Goldblum. I go, oh, okay, it's Jeff Goldblum. I liked him in Independence Day. But that concept is pretty cool, so I'm okay with that. As long as the execution's like balls to the wall crazy and we don't get some activist group saying, oh, we can't show dinosaurs being hurt on film. Like, dinosaurs have been extinct for, 65 million years or some shit like that? I don't think their feelings are going to be hurt. Logan Michael, thank you very much again. Who did a better job with the Michael Myers mask, Rubies or Don Post? I guess Don Post. The Rubies in general, their mask work is garbage. I'm not necessarily a fan of what they make. I think Rubies always put out like the crappy Star Wars ones and the crappy this version, the crappy that version. Don Post is like a step above. So if Rubies is like the Walmart brand, Don Post is like the Target brand or maybe the Dillard's brand. Still not, the top of the line, but a step in the right direction in terms of quality. I think some of the fan-made ones or the small batch Michael Myers masks are the best. Whatever is most accurate to Shatner. The classic Rubies one where the Michael Myers face is like just pure white and the hair is like an afro, it looks like shit. And I think we all can agree that if it's not accurate to the film, why make it? But somebody brought up a point about Kevin Feige will put 2 LGBT characters in future Marvel movies. What are my thoughts on that? I don't dislike gay people or any minority of anything as long as it fits into the story. Luke Cage had that. I've been watching Luke Cage a lot lately. If you guys want me to talk about it, I will. But I've been watching Luke Cage and they imply that someone's gay or this or that. And only if it works and only if it's not in your face. If it's a natural progression, that's fine. It is, Pride Month? So maybe Kevin Feige announced that to, be part of the cultural zeitgeist and remain relevant. But he's been smart so far with all this shit. It would be great if it turns out that all the shit he's been saying in the media was just to appease the media, but the films were basically what they've always been, to appeal to everyone, every audience. Now, I'm not saying that families shouldn't be accepting of gay people. I don't dislike anybody from, put it like this. If you're a good person and you're gay or straight, I don't care. And if you're an asshole and you're gay or straight, I care. Like, I'm not going to give you a pass because you're a minority or whatever, gay. I'm a minority. People don't give me a pass, so I'm an asshole. If I'm mean, I'm mean, and I face the repercussions of that. So if Kevin Feige's putting this in and it just makes sense and he's not turning characters gay like Iceman in the comics or some dumb shit like that, I'm fine. I don't care. But if all of a sudden Captain Marvel, well, it makes sense if she was gay. But if all of a sudden like Thor was in love with Heimdall or some dumb shit like that, then you're fuck them. Dumb shit like that is what I won't forgive. But if it's done with some class, I'm okay with it. Super chat from Art Vandalay. Cool name. Do you have the 84 Superpowers Batman figure? I do not, Art. What I do have is the 89 Batman, which is quite similar in like to the terms of the body, but I don't have the 84 Superpowers Batman figure. I'd love the 84 Powers or Superpowers line, but those are kind of pricey to get them in good condition. I don't need boxes. I would prefer accessories, but I need them to be mint without any paint damage. I'm one of those people that if I notice a scuff on a figure, I'm like, ooh, I should get another one to replace this. Sometimes I do, like with Batman the Animated Series. I have 3 of those combat belt Batmans. But other things I'm okay with. Like, I don't know. If a Han Solo figure has a scuff on his belt, well, it's Star Wars and it's a lived-in universe. But I don't own that figure. I'd like to own that as well as Superpowers Superman and the Green Lantern. And I just want them all. I'll just say it. The whole line looks cool. And the Hall of Justice. By the way, here in Cincinnati, the building that the Hall of Justice is based off of is pretty much in my backyard. And I went there and filmed a video. They had a Star Wars costume exhibit. So go check that out. It's on the channel. It's called Star Wars and the Power of Costume Exhibit. If Thor turns gay and starts grinding the Hulk, I'll walk out. That'd be dumb. Jane Harahan asked, what animes, if any, have I seen and enjoyed? I personally view it as just another medium like cartoons or TV, and I enjoy the lack of American left SJW politics in the shows. I had this discussion last night about the lack of SJW politics in Nintendo games and how I appreciated the classical elements of that. See, Japanese, from what I've consumed in Japanese entertainment, the women have roles that are like Zelda. She's the brains behind it. You still play as Link and you get to live through Link, but Zelda is the brains of it, and that's fine. To answer your question, though, I've seen a lot of anime. I don't necessarily consider myself an anime fan, but I am one of the people that used to go to Suncoast and pick up DVDs when they were like $30 for an episode. Well, I love Lupin the Third and Golgo 13. Thankfully, with Blu-ray, they put them all out as a season instead of episode arcs and the movies. I own those 2 on Blu-ray. I appreciate it as art. You guys know I used to be an illustrator, so the artistry behind anime really impresses me. But I don't necessarily watch a ton of it now. But overall, if I find something I like, I will watch. The last one I sat through was Castlevania. I watched that twice, the entire series. I loved the goriness and the action and the adult content. I don't think animation is for children, just like I don't think Star Wars is for children. I think Star Wars is an all ages thing that there's a happy medium you can get. Same thing with anime. Some anime is for kids, some anime is for adults, and then there's some like a Dragon Ball Z or a Lupin the Third, certain versions that can appeal to people of all ages. Super chat from Shamaniac. Batman, the animated series, the Mr. Freeze episode, the Two-Face 2-parter, the Clayface Origins, all amazing episodes, which make you empathize with the villains. You said fempathize. No, I agree. Heart of Ice is fantastic. It's a very sad episode. Paul Dini cries talking about it. Two-Face 2-parter is great. I like how they bring in Poison Ivy that early. Clayface Origin is great as well. I feel for all the villains. I think that's what makes a truly great villain in a movie. Even in like Spider-Man 2, you sympathize with Dr. Octopus. You care about the villains, and a good villain makes a hero even better. I don't like when the villains are cookie cut out, just boom, they're basic characters that, the villain fights and they go away. Kind of like the Super Friends villains. Lex Luthor gets punched, he goes down, and comes back the following week. Batman the Animated Series will stand the test of time because of the way it fleshed out all the characters, and that fleshing out of characters made them relevant in all the forms of entertainment they appear in. So I would love to do a Batman the Animated Series live watch party where we just start at the beginning, we do a couple episodes, and we just keep it rolling for a while. It'd be a lot of fun. If you guys would be interested, you know how to do, press F and we can make that happen. And you just got to remind me that I said it on this show, and it's my favorite cartoon of all time. You're not going to have to twist my arm very hard to get me to watch it. Midnight Cherry TV, True Romance. Also, thoughts on a Mystery Men movie. All right, cool. I will watch True Romance. I got to watch that and Buckaroo Banzai. Yeah, Buckaroo Banzai. I have to watch both of those movies. I've been told about those for a while. I'm guilty, but I haven't watched too much new stuff outside of Luke Cage. Thoughts on Mystery Men? I love Mystery Men. I saw it in theaters. I own it on DVD and VHS. I was one of the few kids that was really big into Mystery Men, so much that I looked for Mystery Men action figures at my toy store. Never found them. Because, yeah, the internet was around, but I didn't know how to really use it and search for what was coming out. So I would have bought a Mr. Furious doll, the Blue Raja, the Shoveler, and the Spleen, and Invisible Boy, and the Bowler. All of them. I like the Mystery Men. It's a fun movie. It's not a great superhero movie, but it's one that I would rank above stuff like Green Lantern, X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men 3. There are movies worse than Mystery Men. Mystery Men, if you take it for what it is, it's based off what Flaming Carrot, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy Mystery Men. That's something we could do a watch party for in the coming months. Maybe next year when it turns 20, we could, go back and get nostalgic for All-Star by Smash Mouth. Logan Michael, do you like Thundercats? I never really liked it. Nor did I, Logan. Michael, I was not born for Thundercats, much like Transformers and G.I. Joe. That was something of the previous generation. So I'm not really nostalgic for it, but I have a Panthro action figure from the original, I think it was LJN run. So I respect that kind of stuff for everyone that's into it. Not trying to change that, but it's just not for me based on age. Could I go back and enjoy it? You're damn right I could. The intro's cool as shit. It's such a well-made, well-animated thing, but I haven't seen an episode to get into it. Now, Retro Blastin' talks about Thundercats, so if you want to hear a video on that, check it out. Shamaniac, empathize, not sympathize. Oops, LOL. I knew what you meant, buddy. Don't worry. Bomb Shoes, thank you very much for your generous super chat. Let me crush your Jurassic World hype before it gets started. The only reason the dinos live because at the end they had a choice to let the poor things die or release them into the New York woods. Aw, never mind then. I thought it was going to be like, oh my god, they're on the loose. They're going to rampage the planet. That'd been fucking cool. Then you could have had like some militarized dinosaurs versus like wild dinosaurs, and they could have tried to make it some allegory for like immigration or something, but it's just dinosaurs. So if you watch it as a plain dinosaur film, you're blown away. God damn it, Bomb Shoes. I love your name. I love Zelda. I love the Bomb Shoe Gallery and Ocarina of Time. And thank you for your super chat, but you broke my heart. I need a hydration break. Lots of F's for Batman the Animated Series. Fine. Let's see. Star Wars fan film party. Star Wars fan film party. Down the road, sure. By the way, Child of the Flower, good morning to you. What happened? Well, in a few moments at the top of the hour, I will go back and repeat the main story. That's how we're going to do it on this show. At the top of the hour, we will do that, just much like a real like a real talk show in the morning. You know, this is a real talk show. We don't have the radio airwaves; we have the internet. So, thank you. My thoughts on the Thundercat reboot in 2019. I think it looks like absolute shit. I don't like cheap animation. I'll go as far as the Spectacular Spider-Man. It's stylized, but it looks great in terms of the fluid motion, and the story was great. That kind of Cartoon Network crap doesn't appeal to me. And people say, but you're too old for that. That's fine. If you use that excuse, that's cool. But there are cartoons that I'm not nostalgic for that I enjoy because of the artistry behind them. And that kind of stuff will sell merchandise. You can appeal to many people. If they were to bring back Darkwing Duck and it looked like it used to, you know, very animated, very stylized, I'd get back into that because I always thought that was a cool concept. Maybe I'm not as nostalgic for it as other shows, but there's a medium that they could get to if they want to appeal to both the adult and child collector / viewer, if you will. The best fan film is Maul's Apprentice film. Something at the beginning of The Phantom Menace would have been awesome. Gotta check it out. Like I said, guys, I'm a fan of Star Wars, and I'm into being, interacting with other fans. I haven't checked out a lot of fan film work, but I will watch it. I guess I'll have to take my critical eye away from it because, they only could do what they could do and enjoy it for what it is, because you don't want to shit on somebody for being passionate. Billy Ritchie, what do you think of Fooly Cooley Season 2? I haven't even seen Fooly Cooley Season 1. My friend in college, Deshaun, used to watch that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure he mentioned that. This would have been like a decade ago. Is it FLCL is how you pronounce Fooly Cooley or whatever? Never seen it. I apologize. If you have another one you want to ask me about, just tag me in it, and I'd love to answer your question that way. Logan Michael, would you do a live watch this week? We're planning on it. Real quick, tonight's the High Council. Tomorrow is Patreon as well as this show. Thursday is this show as well as World Class Bullshitters. Friday is this show. I got to find out when the other guys are available and what we're going to watch. We're doing a Patreon video, top 5 summer films. I want to get that together and then announce that we're going to watch all those movies. And I want to do a Beverly Hills Cop retrospective because the movie takes place in June, and currently it's June. So every June I watch that movie. I'd like to put that on Patreon and then give you guys a watch party of parts 1 and 2. So we can do watch parties. I'll definitely announce it at least 48 hours before we're going to do it, so everyone has time to either rent the movie or go out and buy a copy physically. I want everyone to have the movie so when we watch it, we can all be together on the same plane. And if you don't want to, you can't afford it, or just don't care to, listen to us, ask us questions. I appreciate no matter how you consume World Class Bullshit. It's a lot of fun. My opinions on the 2011 Thundercats, the one that looked like anime. I've seen a couple episodes. It was fine. My friend Joel watched it because Joel's almost 50, but back then, Joel's 41, ooh, math. But he grew up watching Thundercats, and he checked it out, and he showed it to me, and I thought it was fine. Much like Young Justice, I thought it was fine. I would watch it again, but I haven't had cable in like a decade, and I don't care to have cable. You just need the internet. That's the important thing to have nowadays. Joe Butler, thank you very much for your super chat. There's no message, but I still appreciate it. I did not mention the Troy Dennings. I didn't mention Troy Dennings, who wrote the Dark Nest trilogy and the Jedi Academy trilogy, because I've never read those books. One thing about Star Wars and Jeff is, if you really want to pique my interest in Star Wars, give me access to behind-the-scenes books and stuff that covers the production of the actual movies. I will read that all day, every day. The universe stuff outside the expanded universe, fine. I like it too, but the books I've read have always been about either the merchandise or the making of the films. I feel like they bring a lot of interesting insider information that helps the films get better, more so than expanded universe stuff. B1L, thank you very much for your generous super chat. Tuesday morning, The Last Jedi complaint. Nimitz class carrier range unlimited 20 to 25 years before refueling. First commission, 19 friggin' -75. Why is Ryan talking fuel limitations like it's a white Bronco? Because Rian Johnson has no creativity or originality, and he doesn't know how to build tension in a movie. The Empire was hot on Han and Leia's tail, with Chewbacca and C-3PO as well, and the Falcon and Empire. Never once were we worried about them running out of fuel as the tension. I mean, that's some Mad Max level shit, but done poorly. If you build up a threat, and your threat is more than just gasoline or fuel or hyperspace dust or however what do they use? Some kind of engine that I knew the name of that I can't remember off the top of my head. If they're more focused on a good story, that thing should just be kind of like a secondary factor in the creating the tension. But it's funny how certain movies can appeal and appease fans that want the story, fans that like the technical aspect and the world building, yet Rian Johnson's Star Wars can't do any of those things. It makes me laugh, and it makes me wonder, how did he get, whose ass did he kiss? What did he do? But thank you very much, B1L. Reed Plancha, thank you very much for your generous super chat. 928 industry professionals have been recruited to the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. 38% of new members are of color, 49% women. Any thoughts on this, and why is it highlighted as a diversity push? It's highlighted as a diversity push because they make it a diversity push. If we lived in a world where it was just, hey, these are the new people we hired, they're the most qualified or they're the best at their job, I'm pretty sure and confident we live in a time where it doesn't matter if they're black or white. It just matters if they're good. I don't care who scores Luke Cage, if they're black or Indian or whatever. The music sounds cool and I like it. So it doesn't matter if it's black or white. They got to stop creating these racial divisions themselves. I think us as the fans are very open to everybody. It's not about being racist and hateful. It's just about who's the best. And I know this sounds controversial, but there was that black stunt woman that was killed in Deadpool 2, and there was the rumor that she was not the most qualified, but they wanted to be so progressive that they had to make sure they had a black stunt woman when either a black guy, or somebody in a costume could have done it and survived. I think that's the opposite side of this push for diversity. Sometimes people get hurt, not necessarily they die, but they have these things that happen to them because the people who push for this aren't necessarily, their hearts may be in the right place, but their heads are up their asses. So I guess the best way for me to always say it, and I'm not even worried about who's listening to what I say. This is how I genuinely feel. I don't care who makes it. They could be, a 4 foot tall, whatever. As long as they produce the best quality content, you're not going to hear people bitch. I use the Wayne's World analogy. I didn't, as a kid, even nowadays, I really don't read credits at the beginning of a movie. I'm very guilty. I know that sounds dumb. They're like, they're in your face. How can you not read them? I just pay attention to whatever else is on the screen, and the words just kind of whiz by me. But what I'm trying to get at is I didn't realize that Wayne's World was directed by a woman, and it doesn't matter. It's a funny movie. It's directed by a person who knew the content, who had their finger on the pulse of entertainment, of that culture, the Generation X type of people. Same thing with Fast Times at Ridgemont High, directed by a woman, yet it dealt with all kinds of topics that nowadays the female directors that have a thing to prove, they wouldn't do it. It talks about Jeff Spicoli is a type of character they may not like. They would try to vilify certain aspects. And I think Fast Times at Ridgemont High did it right. Like the dude that got the girl pregnant was a dick. Was his name Ramon or Damone or something like that? And it all mattered. It all is dependent upon what they're making and if they're qualified. I know this is, kind of a roundabout way of saying the same thing twice, but they shouldn't tell us about the diversity hires and expect us to be happy. They should just hire these people and give us the best entertainment, or whoever's the best at their job. Like wrestling. Wrestling, some people say it's racist, but wrestling has always been open in terms of racial diversity. Yeah, there hasn't been a fully black WWE champion, but I don't think that's a racist decision. I think there have been main event draws of every ethnicity from every walk of life for many years. And I think people need to look back, especially these diversity obsessed people. They should look back at wrestling and stuff like that. The Rock is a very eclectic mix of diverse backgrounds. Booker T is a black guy. They've always had main event people in the spotlight, no matter what color they are, because they're the best. They get over with the fans. They reach an audience, and they can touch anybody from any walk of life. That's what Hollywood needs to worry about first. There's going to be a time where there's this diversity tipping point, and people may be opposed to it, and it may hurt people of color or minorities or gay people or whatever. It may hurt them because the people in power have made it all about that. So it's an interesting statistic. I was not aware of that. And we'll see where it goes in terms of entertainment. We're on a downward slope in terms of a lot of movies, so maybe we can blame this on that, but we have to watch the movies first. So thank you again, Reed Palancia. I greatly appreciate that super chat. That was very generous. Let's see. We have another one from Klaus Stork. Good morning. What would you tell young Jeff about today's movies? I don't know that I would tell young me anything, because young me really appreciated older films, and it got me to where I am now. I don't think you guys would want young Jeff to know about the future, because we may not have this channel, we may not have this platform to discuss this stuff. So I don't want to sound like my life is 100% sunshine and rainbows and everything's perfect. Stuff is very good. I'm thankful for where I am, and I don't want to change where I am by altering the past. So Jeff's not going to get in the time machine to go back and change anything. Yaren Weiswig, thank you very much. Fallen Kingdom was pretty bad, but the worst part was every single bad guy is a white male. Only the fucking heroes are allowed to be diverse. I'm afraid when they do that kind of stuff too, because it just comes off as disingenuous and it makes their cause that much flatter. Now, Luke Cage, on the other hand, I'll give it credit. The heroes are all black, but the villains are mostly all black, too. I don't think there's a single white guy that's portrayed as the bad guy in Luke Cage Season 2. Let's see. There's Mariah Dillard. She's a very evil black woman who's going to get her shit pushed in soon, I hope. Bushmaster's black. It makes sense to have an all-black cast in Harlem and stuff like that. I get it, but they don't vilify the white man. The only white guy I can think of off the top of my head that appears is either Iron Fist, and he's in there for a minute, and they don't really make him a joke, and the cop, who is not even a bad, dirty cop. It all works out, so I don't mean to harp on it because I'm currently watching it, but Luke Cage seems to get the diversity thing right. But I do hate when bad guys are, always evil white men. Have a white woman be the bad guy, like in the Fast and Furious 8. Not the greatest movie, but Charlize Theron looked hot and did a pretty good job. Thank you again for that super chat. We had another one from Anthony Mata. Good morning. Morning, Jeff. What's a better read, Dark Horse Star Wars or Marvel Star Wars? Dark Horse Star Wars all day, every day. Let me tell you why. First off, you need to get yourself Star Wars Classics. It is reprinted by Marvel, but you can get it from Dark Horse. It's the same content. I swear by Classic Star Wars, and that's the name of the book, Classic Star Wars. I enjoy it so much. It was produced as a newspaper strip through the 80s, early 80s, but it came out after Empire, but they explicitly state in the beginning that it takes place between A New Hope and Empire, so Han Solo's in the story. It's a lot of fun. It's created by some older people who bring Star Wars and they mix it with like classic Flash Gordon-y style stuff. So if you're a fan, if you appreciate all forms of entertainment and you appreciate classic stories, it really mixes Star Wars with that, and to me it broadens the universe. I mean, they fight a giant underwater space squid, or squid, if you will. And that kind of stuff is cool to me. They introduce a lot of interesting elements, and the artwork is really good because at the time, it tops the Marvel Comics Star Wars stuff. So there's that. And then the Dark Horse series that launched, I think, was it 2011 or 2012? Maybe it even launched in 2013. But my point is, I bought every issue of that book when it was being released. It takes place between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. It's much better than the Marvel stuff. Marvel basically rebooted all that, and I hate it. So I can't recommend the Dark Horse stuff strongly enough. Please go out and find a way to read it. There are ways to read it online. You know what? If you read it online, it's not going to hurt Dark Horse because they don't get any money from that. The stuff's out of print. If you go back and pick it up, go support your local comic book store and find a way to read the Dark Horse Star Wars title, just Star Wars. But thank you, Anthony, for that one. Logan Michael, thank you very much for your super chat. Live watch of Godfather 3. I got to see Godfather Parts 1 and 2, and I know before anyone gets upset, I know, I got to watch it. Just haven't had a chance. I've seen parts of 2 and parts of 1, but I haven't sat down to watch the entire thing. I'm guilty. There are some classics I've never watched, but I never wanted the classics to define who I was as if you call me a film critic, great, or who I am as a person in terms of my entertainment tastes. I never wanted to be so colored by, like, hey, they're respected, I got to love them type of thing. I find quality in all forms of entertainment, and I have a unique take on stuff. I hold something like The Big Lebowski in such a high regard. Many critics don't. It just depends on what I like and what speaks to me. The Dark Horse Star Wars based on Lucas's original screenplay was top-notch. I liked that too. I'm just a stickler for the stuff that was just titled Star Wars or classic Star Wars. So it is the top of the hour. So for Child of the Flower and all those people who have joined us recently, let me just read this again. Star Wars rumors. Kathleen Kennedy's time at Lucasfilm nearing an end? The Star Wars rumor onslaught continues, this time with the future of Kathleen Kennedy, who may be on her way out as president of Lucasfilm. One could be forgiven for thinking that every day brings another series of speculation about the state of Lucasfilm and the status of the Star Wars franchise in general. Movie projects are shuffled around, postponed, and your favorite characters are said to be appearing in unusual places. Well, get your salt shakers ready, because we've gotten one more rumor to report to you. This from popular YouTube critic and film commentator Grace Randolph of Beyond the Trailer. Citing an unnamed source inside of Pinewood Studios, where most of the Star Wars films are shot, Randolph states that a recent conference call was held between Disney and the head honcho Bob Iger, and the whole Lucasfilm top brass. On a Y-rated topics covered, the changing out of Kathleen Kennedy as head of Lucasfilm was high on the docket. Apparently, Iger was displeased with the current disharmonious state of Star Wars and is looking to find new blood in an effort to reconnect with the spurned core fan base. The stated goal, returning the Jedi to full four-quadrant appeal. Randolph states, however, that the many persons approached to take the reins of the film, J.J. Abrams among them, nobody stepped up to the plate. She concluded the current regime is likely to stay in place until the heir makes themselves apparent. Additionally, the subject of Obi-Wan Kenobi was discussed, and a retroactive consensus reached that Obi-Wan movie should have bowed before Solo, a Star Wars story, to the surprise of very few fans everywhere. So there you go, folks. That was the top story of the hour. We're talking about that. We're talking about anything entertainment. That's how this show goes. If there's something you want to talk about, shoot me a super chat. I can go into depth, or if I'm reading the chat, I can answer that stuff too. So you guys have the control of this show. Is Kathleen Kennedy related to Vince McMahon? If only she'd get in a limo. And if you're a wrestling fan, you get that reference. There's an audio version of the Jedi Academy on YouTube you should listen to. I'll check that out. Today I got to drive my grandma to the ear doctor. She's got a hearing aid, so we got to get that filled in. One thing about my family, now that I do this, a lot of people think I have a lot of free time. I don't, but, you know, somebody like my grandma I'm going to make the time for. Joe Butler, thank you again for a super chat. I really need shirts already. I have shirts. People just never buy them. We had Incarnate Studios, which was the shirt seller for World Class Bullshitters for a long time. And instead of repaying for that, I'm going to build a new website, worldclassbullshitters.com. And Christopher, if you want shirts, you're going to get more than shirts. We're going to have Good Morning Pop Culture mugs, all kinds of stuff. I just got to make sure I have the facility. I bought all the merchandise or the equipment to make the merchandise too. So don't worry. This is, like I said, it's the summer of World Class Bullshitters. There's going to be everything. And I got all kinds of perks and incentives for people that buy our merchandise. Not just a thank you or a shout out beyond that. So make sure you just keep following the channel for the constant updates. Because Kathleen is a Kennedy and she pushes Rey like Vince pushes Roman Reigns. God damn, that is the truest statement I've read all morning. The only difference between Rey and Roman Reigns is that Rey comes out every 2 years. Roman Reigns comes out every week, and but if I had to pick one to exist, Roman Reigns over Rey any day of the week. Because Roman Reigns loses, Rey has not. Logan Michael, favorite comic toy line besides Marvel Toy Biz? I like that question. You guys know I like to talk about toys. Logan Michael, were you there for my Saturday night toy chat? If not, I'll do it again in the future. It was a very positive thing. My favorite toy line based on a comic book. I thought the Batman the Animated Series toy line was excellent. It looked just like the show, even though it didn't have a ton of articulation. Not many toys back then did, and it did the job. And you had a wide variety. That's the important thing that a lot of toy companies don't think about. Kids want to live in the world that you're trying to sell them. You know, I would close the curtain and make it dark when I played with Batman toys. So that was a lot of fun. And you had the Batmobile and the Batwing and all that stuff, as well as all the villains in the Batcave. So what you got to do is you got to build a world. That was a lot of fun. Outside of Toy Biz, I do like Marvel Legends. I really do like Marvel Legends. And you were not on the stream. You missed out, man. I pulled out some of my classic stuff. We had a lot of fun. I think it would have been like the stream for you. Go back and watch it. It's the icon with Buzz Lightyear holding Rey's head. So if you don't know where that joke comes from, make sure you watch it to find out. Claustoric. When Cray Cray KK gets fired, would you hire her as a sweatshop employee to make all your merch? She's going to complain too much. She's just going to be like, you know, I wouldn't pay her. I would just basically... It would be penance for her fucking up Star Wars. So maybe if she gives me insider information about Hollywood, why she does, sure, we'll hire her there. So Kathleen, after you're out at Lucasfilm, you can come work at my building for World Class Bullshitters, and we'll pay you in free World Class Bullshitters t-shirts and sandwiches. The Ghost with the Most, a.k.a. Beetlejuice. Thank you very much. The Devil May Cry comic had really nice art. It was a retelling of the first game and didn't get finished, but it was cool. Recommend checking it out. Well, hold on. Let me write that down. I got my little thing right here. I will go to my website that I go to read all my comic books on, and I'll check that out. I have a little bit of time when I'm sitting around doing nothing, which is very small, but I do try to read a comic book every week because I am launching a comic book. You see Ethan Van Sciver's Indiegogo going nuts, and I figure, why not me? I wanted to be a comic book artist. I spent the time. I spent countless hours training for it. I got tons of art that I've drawn that has never seen the light of day. So if he can do it, obviously he works at DC or has worked at DC and is an industry legend. But you know what? Other people can, like Diversity in Comics, and so can I. So why not me? And I know I got a whole bunch of people backing me up so we can make it happen. And I think I've decided, instead of trying to launch with a superhero or something crazy that people really don't want to read, I think I'm going to launch my movie script idea as a comic book. So if you guys watch this past week's episode of World Class Bullshitters, where we talk about our Harrison Ford comic book, I think I'm going to make that. I'll figure out the legalities of it, and we're going to have that out by the end of the year. So expect me to talk about my Indiegogo for World Class Bullshitters in the future. And one thing nice about the Indiegogo, all the money that I'm going to make from it is going to go back into this channel to help it grow. We'll get a studio. We'll be able to produce video content. So make sure, if you guys are big fans, that you share that everywhere. Because if we can get EVS money, World Class Bullshitters is going to be bigger than you guys can imagine. It's not about buying a new car or something fun like that for me. Not saying it's like that for anyone involved with Indiegogo, but I don't have a family to worry about right now. I have this channel, and I have you guys, and my family is my mom. So all that's just going to go back into that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And yes, David Wheeler, that's the story. Would I do another toy chat this week? Asks Logan Michael. Not this. I can't promise on this week because, like I said, guys, today and tonight, we're live streaming here on the channel. Tonight's the High Council at 9 Eastern Standard. Tomorrow is the Patron Hangout, as well as Good Morning Pop Culture. Then Thursday is Good Morning Pop Culture, as well as World Class Bullshitters. And Friday is Good Morning Pop Culture. Maybe, you know what, Logan Michael, since you're here every morning and the lighting would be better in the day, maybe on Friday's Good Morning Pop Culture, I can bring out some stuff. There's a lot of people that listen, and maybe they'll like it too. Obviously, the show will be about pop culture. It's not going to be a strictly toy cast, but you can ask me questions like you do now, and I can pull down stuff from the shelf, and I can show it. I have a 1080p web camera that I can use to display certain thing, well, anything really, and we can make that happen. So if you guys ask for that, we can make it happen. Where's Dad? Asked the glutton. My dad died when I was, 6 weeks old, and I don't want anyone to feel bad, like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, because look, I don't usually get into the personal stuff to, not to make it weird, but my dad passed away, and I knew it from an early age, and it's not like my dad left me situation. I mean, he died in a plane crash. Terrible things happen, but I have an awesome mom who helped me become well-adjusted, and I'm fine with it. So I always talk about my mom. It's just always been the two of us, not like we've been abandoned or there's any bad blood. So that's where he is. It's no big deal. And you know what, John, I'm glad you are my family. You guys are a lot of fun. You guys are definitely way more supportive than my own family. Not that my family is not supportive of me, but they don't get it. They don't know how we've grown, what we're doing, the ideas that I have for the future of entertainment with the World Class Bullshitters brand. But you guys have been here. You stick with us. You stick with me every day, and I greatly appreciate that. Panda, are you attending any upcoming Ohio conventions? I am not, Panda, but from the way you talk to me on these, you seem like you're relatively close to where I am. And I've done this before, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try to get any of our local fans together to go to the Hofbrauhaus over in Newport. We've had Channel Dad Brian Lape. We had Kendo come to town. Dion was here. It would just be an informal get-together where we'd get together, have dinner, have some drinks, maybe wander around town, hang out. We got a couple, I think this one guy's name's Anthony who wanted to be involved. Pretty much like this. Anyone that can find us and get there is welcome. And it's not going to be like a big hosted thing. We'll just all, go to a restaurant in a big booth or a big table or whatever and hang out for a couple of hours. So if I go to any Ohio conventions, it would be strictly as a fan. So if I go to like the Cincinnati Comic Expo, I'm just going to go there to look at toys and some comics and, support local creators and stuff like that. I am friends with a lot of those people because I did want to be an artist for a long time, but that's really my convention appearances for Ohio. If we get approved for Horror Hound Indianapolis, which I've already paid for and I still haven't heard any news, I'm going to be there as World Class Bullshitters, and I'm going to be giving out free stuff and having a big hangout there. So if anyone's in the Indianapolis area or can get there in late August, we'll give all the dates when we have confirmation. We're going to do something better, and all the guys from the show will be there. So thank you, Panda, for that. If I get EVS money, I'll drink the shit out of the proceeds. There's going to be some definite celebration, but I want to get the EVS money. I've worked hard. Why not? I got a really great story to tell you guys. That kidnapping Harrison Ford story will be awesome, and it will help get leverage to make a movie based off of it. We were interviewed by a channel the other day, and they wanted to know if you were given $50 million and 4 months to make a B movie. Could you do it? I said, yeah, for $50 million, I could definitely do it. We could get Harrison Ford $15 million for however many days of work to appear in the movie. We could pay Alden Ehrenreich $10 to show up. We could get the best editing crew and, you know, just enjoy the profits of that great story. Okay, Panda you run an anime con in Cincy, Animaniac, or Animatic. I'll have to check that out. I don't know about that show. I haven't really heard much about it. If you go over to our Facebook page and talk about it, I'll definitely look into it. And if the dates are when I'm free, I'll show up and, you know, walk around and see what it's all about. We can maybe do a live stream from there, help you guys get some exposure. Hire Ivan Ortega to edit it. Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. I'm not worried about a name. That guy, he has definitely proven himself as an excellent editor. When we get to that, we have, you know, Nick has a bunch of people, but Ivan Ortega would definitely be somebody awesome. Would I go to Dallas Fan Expo in 2019? Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, 2019 is a little early. We're bigger, but we're not as big. I feel as like, well, we don't have as many subscribers as EVS or Geeks and Gamers, which is fine. There's no jealousy. I'm not really measuring anything with those guys, but I would just have to know that there's a fan presence there. With Star Wars Celebration, we already have that built-in appearance of Star Wars Celebration, but if we're ever in any of your areas, we'll let you guys know. Like if we go to WrestleMania in Texas and you're like, oh my God, because we were in Dallas a couple of years back for WrestleMania, we'll just announce it. Like we're going to be in New Jersey for Mania next year in early April. So if your guys are in the area, come find us and we'll all hang out and have beer. Yeah, it's true that Mr. the OC, I've never had fun in Texas. And Rugis, I didn't know Ivan lives in Atlanta. Yeah, him and Nick should connect and they should get together. Editing is a very important part of film. Look at Star Wars. Marcia Lucas definitely saved that film. My first name is pronounced Yaren, or Jaren, but that's okay. Jaren, sorry. Anyway, Lucasfilm says old Star Wars wasn't diverse. Obviously, they never noticed all the aliens. Well, first off, Jaren, thank you very much. Sorry for butchering your name. Yes, they didn't notice that it was already diverse. And, I mean, besides just straight up aliens, if it had to be diverse for people of color, there were black people and Asian people in Star Wars already. They weren't the leads. The leads were Han, Luke, and Leia. Those are the cool characters. And black kids and white kids and every other colored kids liked those characters. They wouldn't have sold, you know, how many millions of Star Wars action figures if it was just the white people. Maybe the white people were the majority, but they were still there. Everyone was still there. Aren't the boobs bigger in Texas? I'll tell you, in Arizona, when I went there, they were. That's the first thing I noticed in the mall. And the woman who worked at the local Hot Topic explained to me that everyone's trying to get to California, and sometimes they have to make a stop in Arizona to get out to California to make it big with their dreams of stardom, so they end up in Arizona. So that's why you see what you see there. Wow, the chat's rolling around. C-3PO is definitely a gay Star Wars character. Probably. So was R2-D2. Didn't hinder our enjoyment of the character at all. Twin Peak, Texas. You would drive down to Dallas for a meetup. Well, it's good to know that there are so many people in so many parts of the world that want to hang out with world-class bullshitters. Like I said, we're world-class bullshitters. The world means everybody. So, you know, we're just starting out. That's what I keep telling everybody. The channel is really, even though we've grown a lot this year, to me, I consider this like our first real year of the channel. Last year, I mean, it was nothing. We would get 300 views on a video, and I consider that a success. Now, if I don't get like, you know, a couple thousand views in the first hour, I consider that a failure. So it just goes to show you how it's grown. Samuel Sanchez, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate the compliment. And yes, I am a fan of the Metal Gear Saga. I love Metal Gear Solid 2. I really enjoyed the Twin Snakes remake for the GameCube. Is that what it's called? Yeah, I got it over here. I like that one. I really liked 5, The Phantom Pain. I have that one. But like this, I enjoy the games, but I don't follow the stories strongly enough that I could discuss the stories with you. But I know the games well enough that I can talk about how much I enjoyed them and how I've played so much of Part 2. Substance, I had the one for the Xbox, and My mom even laughs when I, snake, snake, snake every time you die, because there's a part in 2 where you had to crawl, like shimmy across a railing or something, and I kept pressing the button and dying, and, do the little game over thing. And I probably died 30 or 40 times in a row, and my mom would laugh. She'd be like, snake, snake, snake! And even to this day, she talks about it. So Metal Gear Solid has always been part of my favorite franchises. And in Super Smash Brothers, I love to play as Snake. That's why I'm excited for the next one, because Snake is back. I kicked ass with him. Joe Butler, thank you very much. Episode 9 opinions with Ray in a bikini enslaved in the Space Cow. If that happens, I will probably puke. I mean, if I ever wanted to see a deck board in a gold bikini, I could just go to Home Depot and draw it myself on a deck board. But, because it'll be officially licensed Star Wars crap, people, be jizzing in their pants over it. Logan Michael says, I would meet up in Texas too. I think that'd be a lot of fun just to meet up with you specifically and talk about toys. We could go on for hours. I would just make sure I have a bunch of water to drink, and we could make that happen. Shmaniac says, I think it was your toy video showing how Star Wars wasn't selling that drew me to your channel. I know this sounds kind of funny, but I love to read how people found us, just out of curiosity, because we are all strangers after all. But something that brought us all together, and I'm glad it did. And for you, it's the toy video, and I enjoyed making those. That was something I didn't even plan. I just would go out in public and see it, and then one day I thought, fuck it, I'm going to film it, and that's how we got the first toy video, and you can clearly see they've caught on. The Rubber Band Man. Today, black kids want a hero who look like them. That's fine. You can have a hero that looks like them, but it should always go beyond just the color of your skin. I'm not white. I keep saying it on the air. There are no heroes that look like me, and I'm young enough to be in that generation that they keep marketing to. It's just about who's the coolest, who has the best development, the most depth. I like James Bond. I look nothing like any James Bond actor, but he's cool. He's the ultimate in male virility on film. There's something that speaks to all guys like that. Maybe Roger Moore's kind of lame, and people don't like that kind of James Bond, but there's a coolness to him. Same thing with like Han Solo, Indiana Jones, all these people. I mean, the closest thing I could say I look like is The Rock, but I don't really like him because we're relatively the same color. It's just what he does is cool. I like Chris Jericho. I don't have long blonde hair and listen to heavy metal music. To me, it doesn't really matter if I look like these people. They just have to be interesting, cool, compelling characters. I can like a movie that's led by a woman. Mad Max Fury Road, really Furiosa's the character. I like Wonder Woman just fine. All kinds of stuff. I think having to look like a character is probably the most shallow reason to like somebody. As a kid, I loved Bruce Lee movies and Jackie Chan. Not Asian, but I always liked those characters and identified with the hero that was doing the right thing. And as I got older, I liked the heroes that did the right things, but not always the right way to get the things done. So that's fine if someone has to look like a character to identify with them, but they're definitely missing out on a wide variety of quality entertainment. Big super chat from Rendar Smith. Thank you very much for your generosity. The DJs on the radio just made a joke about Disney losing money on Solo. Disney is focusing on the main storylines to please the hardcore fan base. You were right. Boycotting episode 9 is the key. Well, thank you for telling me I'm right. It's always nice to hear. Sarcasm. I'm just joking. But I really do believe that, guys. They're going to... offshoots they can just kind of brush off. Remember, every excuse that these people make online for them, Disney will make to the shareholders in the board. So if episode 9 is a categorical failure on every level, you just make sure that you can make sure that they know it at the top. You got to remember that it's the shareholders and the people with that power that can really force somebody like a Kathleen Kennedy out. So please, if you're going to do anything like that, just do it now. Don't wait. Do it now. Not to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger, but do it now. Now go. Make sure that you make your voices heard. And, if you tell people like a Chuck Wendig or people on Twitter that say, oh, Lucasfilm, you're not their customers, they don't owe you anything. Well, fine, then we don't owe you our money for a movie ticket. So you guys can have your ideological fantasies and your weirdness, but don't bitch when people don't go see your movie. Like I always say, if I started talking about golf on this channel, I'd alienate a lot of my fan base and then be stupid, and it would just hurt myself. So Lucasfilm does owe us a lot, and we hold the power. I don't want to try to build up everyone's egos, but we really do. The consumer always holds the power. If a company sinks all this merchandise into something we hate and we don't support it, it goes away. New Coke. Trying to think of other things that just don't work. You vote with your dollar, and if your dollars aren't there, then they go away too. Jaron Reeswig, if you're ever down in Tampa, Florida, let me know. Also, when you read about all the crazy shit on air, you're very wise to choose Florida. I enjoy Miami quite a bit. I don't know how close Miami and Tampa are. I don't think they're that far, right? Like an hour or two. I go down there for WrestleMania, so whenever WrestleMania is in Florida, you can always catch me down there. I would down the road, let's say the Harrison Ford comic makes $1 million. I'm moving to fucking Florida after I build the World Class Bullshitter studio. Like, that'll be the thing. So that'd be a lot of fun. But $1 million for a comic, who knows? I'd shit my pants if that happened. But yeah, I would definitely get together in Florida. We'll go have mojitos and hang out. That's why I liked Miami. We went to Miami Beach, or South Beach, and we drank at the bar and just watched women in bikinis. It was the best day of my life. Let's see. Make sure I don't want to miss any of these. Logan Michael, again, thank you very much. If you do a meetup in Texas, don't go to Lubbock. I live there, and it's kind of bland. I won't. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings who lives in Texas. I'm not here to shit on, the people of Texas, the fine state or the Republic of Texas or whatever it is. I just have never had, like I said, I've never had a good time in Texas. I don't know how else to say it. I think I'll put that on a t-shirt. I've never had a good time in Texas. World Class Bullshitters. You can quote me on that one. Prove me wrong, Texas. Let's get down there. Let's have a ton of barbecue, get drunk, and show me something cool and make sure I'm not fearing for my life. But I won't go to Lubbock. If I'm going to go to Texas, I'll probably steer clear of Austin too, but I feel like we maybe would reach a lot of people in Austin. I don't know. We'll find out. When we announce the Texas leg of the World Class Bullshitters World Tour, you'll be the first person to know Logan Michael. I expect you to help us get things together. Bomb Shoes, thank you very much. I found you guys on December 18th after I came home and stomped on my episode 7 DVD and unsubbed to Collider. There you were on my homepage. Cool! I'm so glad that people had some bad reactions to those Star Wars movies and I wasn't the only one. If I was the only one, then I'd admit, it's just me. The movies are fine. But, it's not the case. And I find that kind of funny. I never subscribed to Collider. I just would see them on Screen Junkies movie fights. Those people. There's just something off about them. Like I say, guys, Collider and Screen Junkies and John Campia and all those people aren't in the film critics business. They're a small arm of advertising for studios. So they pick and choose their words wisely because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds. Channels like this, though, we really just say what we want to say in terms of, we don't really answer to anyone. I can say what I want. My only aim is to entertain you guys in the process. Shamaniac, you're listening to the Switch while listening to us. Or you're playing the Switch while listening to us. It's pretty great. And yeah, I don't like Texas either. I keep hearing people talk about the movie Caligula. I've seen that movie. It's out there. But yay, Helen Mirren, the ultimate MILF. What game are you playing on the Switch? I'd like to know. There's a couple Switch games I really want to get. Thank you, Jessica, for that nice compliment. I greatly appreciate it. My mom is proud. We talk all the time, so one of my ultimate goals is to be so successful I can take care of her and help her retire because her job is shit, and she's worked really hard to help me make it through school and get to where I am in life. So I owe her a big debt of gratitude. Can't even speak in the morning. Sorry, but people are still talking about Texas. Mark Ellis is the devil. Mark Ellis is just dumb. I would watch him. The one that I don't like is Christian Harloff because he would try to bully his way into winning. He can be 6'2", whatever, and think he's going to bully somebody, but I'm much larger, and I'll smack him around verbally and physically if it gets to that case. I fear no one. Thank you very much, Andrew Dale. Found you by the pre-release info of The Last Jedi plot. Saved me a lot of money and pain of The Last Jedi. Well, Andrew Dale, thank you very much, and let's give a quick shout-out to Kendo Slice for recommending I make that video. I was looking at the stuff, but Kendo said, hey, you should really do this, and I did. So we got to give thanks to the other bullshitters as well. Yes, I'm the voice that you guys hear, and I do write the videos and do all the editing and stuff. But but I'll always give credit where credit's due. So I don't want you guys to think that they, are just on the show. No, Nick and Kendo and Dion, they all contribute to the channel and to the show, and they really help the community grow. So that was all on Kendo. But Andrew, I'm glad you found us, and I'm glad you've stuck with us for quite a while. It's been a really good, 7 months at this point, and we're not going anywhere, guys. Like I said, I'm healthy. I'm thankful for what's going on, and these morning streams are really it for now. I love the morning show. I always wanted to be on the radio. Actually, my ultimate goal was to have a talk show like a Conan O'Brien. And, the way this keeps going, build enough of an audience, we can make that happen. That would be my ultimate dream in terms of this. Yeah, I'd like to be in movies. Yeah, that'd be cool. But I'd love to have a talk show where celebrities and people just come on to hang out. They're not trying to sell you their movie. You get to know what Ryan Reynolds did last week. Stuff like that. Just a way to entertain people constantly. The Jacobite, what's up to you, man? You like the morning streams. Collider, kind of a panel of 10 people and not one of them disagree with each other. Yeah, that kind of stuff is stupid. I like when people disagree. I really like when people disagree with me because it helps me discuss things. I'll give a shout out to one of my professors at school, Professor Chris Gallion. She taught us that argument is not a bad thing. The argument, you need to get rid of the negative connotation of argument. You can have an argument over a topic and it's a good positive thing. So that woman has taught me a lot about argument, and I love to argue with people. It doesn't mean I'm having a fight with someone that we're going to come to words and it's going to hurt our relationship. It's just a straight up argument. It's a disagreement, a debate, if you will. Speaking of debate, we're going to bring that back on the podcast this week. We're going to have the great pop culture debate. If you're a longtime listener, you remember that segment of the show. It was there early on. It was my ode to movie fights when I was a young jaded fan of that channel, or an unjaded fan of that channel. Let me rephrase that. But by request of a patron, we're going to bring it back this week. So we're going to have a debate, and if I get enough positivity from it, vote with your words. We'll bring it back on the show, and we can have a new debate each week. This week's debate is about movie and fictional cops, so you don't want to miss out on that. And it's going to be Dion and I debating, and Dion and I can bullshit for hours. So let's make that happen. We're going to make that happen, but let's make sure that you guys listen to that one. It's going to be fun. Thank you, Shamaniac. I'm glad you don't think I'm full of shit. Darth Platypus, we're the guys on the High Council, we're giving a voice to the fans. Yes, like I keep telling you guys, we hold the power. Like I said, we hold the money. These movies don't make $1 billion because one person has a belief, and the Avengers makes $1 billion. Millions of people got and supported with their hard-earned dollar. Families that they take all their kids and their friends to go see the Avengers. Maybe it's the biggest thing they do. You just got to remember, you don't want to shit on people because of their economic background or their, wherever they come from life. You're open to everyone. Somebody in the chat earlier said you make a good story and people from every walk of life will come and find it. And that's the best thing I think you can do with entertainment. American Trent 421, thank you very much. You have a healthy career, unlike Kathleen Kennedy and Paul Allen. The guy from Dorsia who's trying to get a table? I can't wait to have you on to talk about American Psycho, Trent. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm actually fairly new to my love of American Psycho. I think I first saw it 3 or 4 years ago on Netflix, and I was just blown away. I love 80s culture. I love 80s movies and entertainment. Wasn't alive for 88% of that shit. 88% of that shit, but whatever. Still a great time. Thank you, John. I am bullshit. The best kind of bullshit. World class. Yes, Spectral Gaming, this live stream is going up as a video. I do not take down any of the Good Morning Pop Cultures. I leave them up live so everyone can find them in the future. It really helps grow the channel to have that as a backlog of things you can do. So if you missed the morning show, you can go back and listen to it in the afternoon. And down the road, maybe we'll be doing more than just one stream a day type of thing. So it all depends on how many viewers listen in. We've had a really good morning today in terms of people sticking. We haven't really fallen under 700, which is good. We've been up higher, but we've never been too much lower. So I'm not worried about that. As long as the conversation is flowing between us, I'll keep it rolling. And I think the time is perfect, 7:45 to 10 a.m. every day, Tuesday through Friday. We got a good batch of listeners. And Z15 or Zedis, thank you for enjoying the Toys R Us videos. I love Toys R Us videos. They're a lot of fun to make. I like watching them now that Toys R Us is gone. I know it sounds funny, but Toys R Us was my favorite store even as an adult because I had so many memories there. And to watch those videos and see what was there at its, when it was not going out of business is nice. It's comforting. Yeah, it's embarrassing for the Star Wars brand, but a big part of my life was still there. Shamaniac, I will not let my let the channel get big and change who I am. I'm not really worried about changing who I am. We've grown a lot this year. Like, we're 6 times bigger now than we were at the beginning of the year, and things are blowing up. If anything, I think I've made an effort to be more accessible. Like, I take a day to answer emails and questions and stuff like that. If you're on the Facebook page, you know I respond to most of the stuff and try to engage everybody on a personal level. And I don't mind doing it. It's just, it all comes with the job. It's part of it. So don't worry. If we have 1 million subscribers and, 50,000 people watching every live stream, I'm going to answer all the chats and stuff like that. So don't worry. We had a thing a while ago, and so we said, I hope you don't grow too big because I don't want you to lose the personal touch. You want us to grow because it makes us work even harder to maintain that personal touch, and we always find new ways to engage. If you guys have noticed, since the Star Wars blow up, we've put out more stuff to find a way to talk to you guys. Patreon live streams, this, that, and the other. Don't worry. I will always remember where I came from, and also, I'm not too far away from it yet. Darth Platypus, thank you very much for your super chat. Besides, if everyone agreed on everything, there would be only one studio, which is what Disney is going for, putting out one genre of film. Boring. There you go. Boring is the one option is the worst type of thing. It's like that line in Tommy Boy. What's for dinner? Chicken or chicken? Wow, you get to have chicken. One ideal is not desirable. You got to always have an option open for, option B, option C. It makes life worth living. I mean, even in a relationship, you guys, I'm not going to try to give you relationship advice on this show because that's not who I am, but you definitely aren't going to agree with everything in a relationship, and that's fine. If you guys come together over a common bond, be it love or Star Wars or whatever kind of relationship you're in, friendship, romantic relationship, disagreements are cool because you can come out on the other end as better people by discussing things. And if we're keeping it purely in entertainment, we can come to have like some of the greatest discussions ever when we disagree with each other. So, Darth Platypus, I'm glad you feel the same way about that. World-class bullshitters would be really boring if Dion and I literally agreed with everything. Let's see. Do I remember other toy stores? I remember Children's Palace. That was really young. I got Pee-wee's Playhouse stuff there. Johnny's Toys, KB Toys, and a place called Toy Liquidators. That was really it. But Toys R Us, I lived 2 miles from a Toys R Us, and they were all over the area. So Toys R Us was kind of it. Walmart, we only had one Walmart. Still only have one Walmart without going on the highway, and one Target. So Walmart and Target toy memories aren't very, they aren't as rich in terms of like the childhood nostalgia. And yeah, Omeo Ramen, change is necessary sometimes, but I think what Shamaniac meant is like, don't get an ego about yourself to where you become unapproachable. And I think that's cool. I definitely, I'm not going to do anything to alienate people because I think all of a sudden I'm this megastar or something stupid. I mean, I'm not The Rock. I don't really, even in somebody like The Rock, The Rock's a perfect example. He's still approachable and a decent dude, I think he promised some fan a bottle of tequila, and he mailed that fan the bottle of tequila. So the dude definitely knows how to treat people. And when you treat people like that, look where you can go. Yes, Warren Filbert, I am a horror fan, a big horror fan. Wait till October. We're definitely going to be talking about horror a lot. And I haven't seen Heredity yet. I will check it out. I do need to go to a theater. It's been a while since I've been to the theater, and I want to see something new and scary and fun. Well, since Toys R Us is saved in Canada, maybe Dion and I will take a trip to Canada, depending on how far the closest location is to Michigan, and we'll come to Canada and we'll go to Toys R Us and do a live stream. That'd be a lot of fun. Apparently, Axl Rose looks like Meatloaf. Oh, I remember Axl Rose. I don't like Guns N' Roses or Meatloaf. The food is good, the music not so much. But that's funny. You go from this sex symbol in quotation marks to like some dad bod, the dad rock. John Snyder, smash Ana de Armas. Does that mean smash the like button in Spanish? I apologize. I don't know what that means. Logan Michael, did you hear that KB Toys is coming back? I did. I definitely heard about that. KB Toys was always the overly priced toy store, and I know they were in the mall, so they had to pay their rent. But my mom always promised, hey, If we find it at KB Toys and you want something, we'll go to Toys R Us right afterwards and we'll get it there. And I shit you not, it always worked. It's like, hey, I want this Spider-Man. She took me to Toys R Us where it was $5.99 instead of being $7.99 at KB. So a little bits of money here and there add up. I mean, that was what, $2 to $3 a figure? Every 2 or 3 figures, it's another extra figure for free. So KB Toys, I never really loved it. Yes, Andrew Dale, I'm looking forward to It Part 2 greatly. I didn't expect much with it, but I was really surprised. I don't like to put I don't advocate for children, like violence towards kids, but I like that it put the kids in an actual threatening situation, and it made it interesting. They had to face adversity. Like when Georgie got his arm ripped off and it showed it, I was like, this movie is balls to the wall. And it was awesome, especially, you know, how that one kid that got possessed by the deadlights killed his dad and all that shit. I really enjoyed it. I know some people prefer the original, and I like them both. I watch it on Fridays for some reason. After the morning show, I go into my other room and I watch it on Hulu. I like Stephen King stuff. I like horror. I like that atmosphere. If more people on the channel were interested in it, we'd cover it more often. So if we get a lot of requests, cool. If not, we'll cover it the closer we get to October, because the bullshitters are all coming to town for my 30th birthday. It's October the 21st, but the 20th I'm having a huge party. Maybe we'll live stream from it so you guys can check that out, see us all in person together, and ask us some questions as a group. But the guys will be in town that weekend, and that's the weekend Halloween comes out. So there's going to be a lot of excitement on the episode of World Class Bullshitters that drops on the 18th into the 19th. What are my thoughts on classic horror films like Dracula and Frankenstein? I love Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein and Dracula. I like classic movies. I maybe talk about 80s stuff a lot because it's my favorite and what I'm the most passionate about, but I respect films from every era, most genres, and those two are really great. Boris Karloff was the best version of Frankenstein's monster, and Bela Lugosi, who else is a better Dracula? I mean, you could like Christopher Lee, and that's awesome. Christopher Lee was a pimp in his time. But Bela Lugosi's Dracula is iconic, and it's kind of sad how his life went to the shitter afterwards, but it makes for entertaining watches in those Ed Wood films. Panda, thank you very much for your super chat. Toys R Us Miamisburg has 2 days left, and Beaver Creek 5. I forgot there was a Beaver Creek Toys R Us ever. Had I realized that, I would have driven up there because I drive past it all the time. Now, the Miamisburg one, is that the one that's essentially Dayton? I was there a couple weeks ago, and I had a really cool interact. That's where the last video was filmed, the Toys R Us landfill. That's where that one was filmed, in Miamisburg, if that's the one I'm thinking of off I-75. Maybe I'll check it out. I know this sounds really funny, but I hate going to these Toys R Us stores as they die. I don't enjoy watching one of my favorite places just be picked apart at the end. And like when my uncle died, I went to visit him because, you know, it's the last time you're ever going to see him, but you don't want to remember him as this sick, dying person. Same thing with Toys R Us. You want to remember it as like a fun place where you go for your birthday and can pick out what you want and get, you know, Batman figures and videotapes to go with it, stuff like that. Logan Michael, thank you very much. Would you do a stream talking to the viewers on Skype? Yeah, I've done that before. Definitely. We can do stuff like that down the road. For sure, this week's is on Google Hangouts. It seems like a lot of people like the live portion because as a patron, if you guys have channels and stuff you want to promote or talk about, I'm all for that. I'm not really trying to keep other people from getting their word out there. If you notice, we talk about, we have, you know, writers that sponsor the show. It's awesome that people like, what's his name? Aaron Clary with his books, or John David with his Morgalla books, or Michael Leone and his Rated R trilogy over on Amazon. Like, people like that have great ideas that need a platform, a springboard to get out there in the mainstream. And that's something we try to do. Like, we've been fortunate enough to have, you know, 60,000 people listen to the show regularly. Why not help other people out there? Because we can save entertainment on that level if we can help other people get their word out there. Is everything going to be the greatest? No, but you never know what could be. People turn down Star Wars. People have turned down other movies because of, you know, reasons. And you don't want to be missing out on the next Star Wars or something like that. But yeah, we can definitely do Skype. We just got to figure out a time and a place. The channel's grown a lot, takes up a lot more time, but you know, Skype on the weekends is possible. I try to keep Sundays to myself to maintain some sanity and work on the videos and stuff like that, because I got to be pumping out more videos, but that's where we are. Let's see. Who else is talking? What do I think about Battlefront 2 games now that DICE is trying to fix it? Or have you given up on it completely? I've given up on it completely. Star Wars Battlefront was never going to be something for me. The first one, I played the beta. I thought it was really okay in terms of the first-person shooting, but it was terrible in terms of the space battles. And then Part 2 came out, and I didn't like the idea of playing as that Imperial officer, and I don't like always online and stuff like that. I know there's that single player, but still. I want a third-person story-driven Star Wars game that's not worried about selling me DLC. I want Rogue Squadron back. You know, you make a Rogue Squadron game, or you take the old Rogue Squadrons, you upscale them to 4K, or you redo the graphics in 4K but keep classic controls. And I don't care if I have to destroy the Death Star. I'm doing it in 4K, or Battle of Hoth in 4K. Like, give me that and get me realistic graphics of like actors' faces and real sound bites and alter the audio. Make it feel like I'm playing through the movies and then an extension of it afterwards. So give me that, and you have my money. Let's see. Do I watch E:R or E:R? I've heard about him. I haven't. I have, because I've reached out for them to be on the show. No response. That's fine though. Don't take it. I don't take it personally when people don't respond. Can't help it. Battlefront 2 is playable in third person. I was not aware of that. Emulate Rogue Squadron 2 on a Dolphin emulator in 1080p. Pretty badass. Says Shamaniac. I could do that. I also have the component cables for the Switch, or the Wii, not the Wii U, and I do that. Like, I do a lot of GameCube gaming on the Wii with component cables to try to somewhat upscale it. It's not 1080p, but it looks the best that I've been able to play it at, and it's good enough for now. And the GameCube controller is awesome. Oh, let's see. Star Wars Galaxy was pure joy. Star Wars Galaxies was pure joy. I don't think I've ever played that. I need to. Let's bring back the old X-Wing series with new graphics and better missions. I'm all for that. I think what I want out of a game like that, though, is, from what I remember playing of X-Wing, it was more methodical and tactic-based. I do like the action and the non-stop frenetic pace of the Rogue Squadron games. Tanae, thank you very much. Did you ever play RuneScape back in the day? I did not play RuneScape back in the day. As a small child, I was all Mario and some Mega Man. And then as I got a little older, I expanded into stuff on the N64. The PC stuff I played was Star Wars. And then my mom would buy me a console because she liked to use the computer for stuff like solitaire. And she used to play pinball a little bit. I beat her top score and changed my name to Boba Fett, so she wouldn't have the top spot anymore. Logan Michael, last 3 Chucky's movies suck. Yeah, dude. If you go back and listen to our Schlocktoberfest review of, what is it, Seed of Chucky or Return, whatever the not newest one was, I fell asleep midway through. I think we just canceled it. It was unwatchable. I don't like any Chucky movie. Only the first one is somewhat decent, and I like the part where they're on the elevator going up, and the woman's like, "Oh, what an ugly doll," and he gives her the finger or something. And then I think Chucky, the first one, also has one of the best lines in all of horror films, where Chucky goes, "Friends till the end," and Andy goes, "This is the end, friend," and then lights him up. I like that part a lot. But Chucky is one of those offshoots of horror that I just find stupid. Like, how could a fucking doll kill somebody like that? Just kick the thing and get a weapon away from it, and then just either like lock it in a box or something. Like, you can't get out. It's so dumb. I think if Chucky was real, he would be around for like 5 or 10 minutes and then get hit by a car, and that's the end of the fucking story. Let's see. Do I like war movies? I like war movies. I haven't watched all of Saving Private Ryan. We watched part of it in high school, and then I like a lot of the Vietnam ones more so than the World War II ones. But I'm open to a good story, and I know Saving Private Ryan's considered an all-time great. So I gotta check it out. But I like Apocalypse Now. I like Platoon. I don't know if Heartbreak Ridge is necessarily that much of a war movie. Don't they go to like Cuba at the end or something? But I like those movies. Logan Michael, my email address is worldclassbs@mail.com. Thebestmail.com. That is the best way to contact us. Do I like Rian Johnson? Of course I don't like Rian Johnson. Hacksaw Ridge was good because of because he was selfless and saved people. My grandma was in World War II, and she was desperate to see that movie because of that story of that guy. See, folks, that's why you give people a second chance. Mel Gibson. I will never defend what Mel Gibson did or said about people of, Jewish people, or what he said to his girlfriend or whatever. I'm not going to try to defend that. But the guy definitely knows how to make a good movie. And look at Heartbreak Ridge. He came back Hacksaw Ridge, sorry. Heartbreak, whatever is the Clint Eastwood one. But Hacksaw Ridge, he came back. He did that. Andrew Garfield played a role that wasn't complete dog shit. And a good comeback story is definitely a lot of fun. Look at Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man. If it wasn't for Mel Gibson funding him in terms of insurance, we wouldn't have the Iron Man the way we do. So remember, when we're enjoying the MCU, give Mel Gibson a bit of a break. He was partially responsible for getting Robert Downey Jr. to where he is now. And Robert Downey Jr. hasn't forgotten that. That's one thing I like about guys like that. You come back from the brink of extinction, and when somebody helps you out, you respect them and appreciate them. There's a lot of people who don't appreciate that. You helped me when I needed you. Now I'm bigger than you. Fuck off. No, Robert Downey Jr. didn't do that. And there's a speech that he gave about forgiveness and stuff like that. So let's just remember, it was stupid and it was terrible, but there's still some redeeming qualities for him to make movies. Panda. Watch some of the videos of Star Trek Galaxies. That's what ST stands, or Star Wars Galaxy. It was amazing. It'll bring a tear to your eye. It's amazing. Open world Star Wars, multi-MMO, set in the original trilogy. Okay, I will watch that. I think the gaming stuff can be a lot better than the movies. I need to consume some more non-Star Wars movie stuff. It sounds like everybody wants me to talk about certain things, and I will. I can take some more time to do those things. But right now, we got to focus on getting World Class Bullshitters launched and helping you guys find more ways to show that you're a World Class Bullshitters fan. Believe me, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff come the end of the summer, and you're not going to want to miss out on Star Wars Celebration. Not so much that you need to buy a ticket to go, but you're going to want to make sure that you don't miss out hanging out with us. World Class Bullshitters. This is the High Council. Like I said, I'm bringing gifts for everybody. We're going to have a meetup. I think one of our fans has helped us get a bar that we're going to work out more of the details. We'll give you dates then. But it's a really exciting time to be a World Class Bullshitters fan. And when this goes well in April, the next year we'll come up with something else. We'll you guys, let us know where you want us to be, where the most people are, and we'll be there and we can keep it rolling. Send more cops. I fucking love Return to the Living Dead. That movie's great. Have I seen Full Metal Jacket? Of course I've seen Full Metal Jacket. People are excited that I like Apocalypse Now. I do. Martin Sheen's cool in my book. I think he had a heart attack making the movie, so that's kind of some dedication to your craft. Have I watched A Few Good Men? Yes, I have. I like that movie quite a bit. I'm not the biggest Tom Cruise fan, but the older I get, the more I realize some of his movies are pretty damn good. And A Few Good Men is one of them. Jack Nicholson's awesome as well. Send more paramedics. God, I love that so much. Braveheart was grossly inaccurate, but I still liked it. I've never seen Braveheart. Was that a rated R movie that came out in 95? It was one somebody, like my mom would rent, and I was in bed, and she watched it. I never really got into that. My Mel Gibson stuff is like Mad Max. I love the Lethal Weapon movies. Ransom. All those. I forgot RDJ was in Natural Born Killers. Yeah, Mel Gibson's father may have been super racist, but that doesn't really affect stuff like Hacksaw Ridge. I'm not saying it's good, but, we got to do that. I've seen Apocalypse Now, Rowdy Ruffian. I'll watch it again. I like it. I don't know if I've seen Redux or whatever the original one was, but whatever I saw on Netflix a while ago was the one I watched and liked. Logan Michael, Tom Jane is the best Punisher. Damn right. John Bernthal's great, but I am all about that Tom Jane Punisher action. I liked it. Like I've said before, he seemed redeemable. The movie was cool. Fuck Ray Stevenson. Worst Punisher. Then Dolph Lundgren, slightly better. Would it be too far? Would it be taking things too far to hack Ryan Johnson's Twitter and post things about him being a pedophile? Yes, past the salt. That's too far. That's not what you want to do. You don't really want to make these people look bad, because one nice thing about the SJW influence on entertainment, that they're hurting themselves. They're ruining their cause by being unlikable dicks and attacking fans, and they're making themselves into the things they claim we are. So while you actively protest episode 9, let those people be the stupid ones. Never escalate, because they'll escalate and then they'll self-implode. That's how it works. They're ready to die on their sword. Well, they're going to stab themselves first and slowly go down on it. You guys don't even have to push them. Just watch them slowly disappear into obscurity. So that's how you kind of deal with that. Linnea Quigley is going to be at a convention with Elvira. Ooh. Linnea Quigley. I think she did porn. I hated Jason X as well, Rowdy Ruffian. Tycon 40, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jason X. I saw it many times. It's kind of tough to watch. It's very Sci-Fi Channel movie of the week. I don't consider any of the Friday the 13th films to be great cinema, but they're fun. Jason X is partly fun. It came out in that weird era where CGI wasn't where it needed to be, yet they were pushing it. So the movie feels overly cheap. I don't like Jason X. I like Freddy vs. Jason. I even like the remake of Friday the 13th enough. Partially because I took 2 girls to see it on a date, which I've talked about on the channel. But Friday the 13th movies in general for me never reached the high of that first Halloween movie. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Well, the Firebird man, I'm glad you're late to the party instead of not showing up. I appreciate that. I did say go down on the sword. More ways than one. Thoughts on the Hellraiser series? I like the first one quite a bit, and the rest are kind of shitty. Just flat out. The newest one was an embarrassment. Movies that are made to save the rights are never good. Look at Fantastic Four from 1994. The only sad part about that is those people believed in the movie and they tried, but look what we got. You like the robot girl from Jason X, the one whose nipples fall off? Yeah, she's pretty funny, and I like how she fights. I'm a gigolo. Yeah, a doozy. Logan Michael, Trick or Treat Studios or fan-made masks? All depends on the quality. I'm okay with getting a custom-made mask if it will hold up to use and look just like it needs to on film. But Trick or Treat Studios has done a good job. I'm supportive of them as a franchise or as a business. See, businesses like that are cool because they have the license to do stuff, but they're not too big. So they have like the fans behind them and the creativity and the artistic talent to produce a good product. Like I think that's why Super 7 with their Masters of the Universe stuff is doing a good job. It's small batch toys and small batch merchandise. I'm using quotations here. Because when stuff becomes overly mass-produced, the quality goes down. Even SH Figure Arts has had some quality control issues, and you know how I feel about those. Panda, thank you for watching me while you work. I greatly appreciate it. I do this for work, and you guys entertain me, so it's a two-way street, and I greatly appreciate that all of you people have stuck with me all morning. I love doing good morning pop culture. I wish I had the rest of the day to work on the next video, but like I said, after the show's over, I gotta take care of business and some family stuff, but I'll be back tonight for the High Council, so make sure you guys stick around for that. What have I caught Luke? Have I caught Luke Cage yet? Yes, I've watched the entire first season, and I'm mostly through the second. I enjoy it. I like Luke Cage. I like Mike Coulter as Luke Cage. Shades is great. Rosario Dawson being gone is good for the story, but I think she's so good looking, so I kind of miss that. Misty Knight's hot too. She's one of my favorite MCU babes. I know people are like, who cares about that? I do. Her and Agent Carter. I don't show any discrimination in that regards. But Luke Cage is a fine show. I'm really looking forward to the final battle between Luke Cage and Bushmaster. I thought the first season was kind of lame in its ending, but this one has redeemed it, and I really enjoy it. I'm hoping that Mariah gets her just due. Do I like Napoleon Dynamite? It's my favorite film. That comes from Past the Salt. I liked it enough to own it on DVD, so I guess I do like it. Is it my favorite movie? No, but there was a point in time where I really enjoyed it. It came out when I was in high school, and a lot of people were into it. Not so much. I haven't probably watched it in 10 years, so I'd have to watch it again, but those are my thoughts on it currently. Let's see here. We got a few more. Problem with the Friday the 13th is that Jason is literally unkillable, so it's more just watching and predicting who will die next. Very true, Andrew Dale. And I don't know if you guys follow this, but the Friday the 13th video game is now officially done because of the lawsuit from Victor Miller and all the legalities tied up with the franchise. We're not going to see anything new from Jason in terms of that game for quite a while. Let Cecil be on the High Council. He's hilarious. You never know who's going to show up on the High Council, guys. You just got to watch tonight. But I can promise you Doomcock will be there, as long as he doesn't cancel before now. We've spoken a couple times. He's excited to be here. I'm excited to have him. I hope he can hear this. Doomcock, I'm a fan of your work. I like that jacket you wear. You have a lot of nice things to say. Bring that tonight. If you're wearing the jacket, I don't know. That's fine. Did I like the new Ghostbusters movie? No. No, not at all. I think it doesn't need to exist. If you're going to make a Ghostbusters with women, you need to continue the original lineage and, have a woman on the team. Have her be like Egon, the smart one, but the weird one. You don't need to have all four. I don't buy Melissa McCarthy as a scientist or an actor. John Harrison, our choices are world-class bullshitters morning stuff or the typical radio morning show rambling about sports. You win, hands down. Thank you very much, John Harrison. I'm glad that you have stuck with us. Yes, Logan Michael, I did hear about the Halloween 40th anniversary celebration. I would go if I lived closer. Let's see, as we're closing out. Can't wait till Doomcock. Well, you only gotta wait less than 12 hours, so... Chris, the time tonight, the High Council, folks, is always at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's a rotating schedule. Tonight is here on World Class Bullshitters, so make sure you have your questions ready. High Council reaches a lot of people, definitely double, close to triple what we have right now. So it's going to be a wild show tonight. Now, when I'm moderating, I definitely can keep track of everything. So it's going to be a lot of entertainment. It's going to be a lot of fun, and, Ethan and Jeremy are great guys, and it's always nice to have them around. So be excited for tonight. Really be excited for tonight. And maybe if you guys are good today and you do your work, I'll get Cecil on. Darth Primus, should Kevin Feige run Lucasfilm if he ever leaves Marvel? If he's as big a fan of comics as he is Star Wars, sure, why not? It can't be any worse than it currently is. Brian Kirby, if Cecil pops up, it's going to be towards the end, guys. Don't worry. I know how to not derail a show. Trust me. Star Wars The Last Jedi remake, but it ain't happening. Trust me. It's a thing to gain some attention and make some quick money legally, but if it happens, it'll be just a big joke. Dio Brando, I'm surprised Sleepaway Camp hasn't been made. I don't think they want to address the ending with the social climate. First off, thank you very much for your super chat. I appreciate it. No, they won't. And there are multiple reasons. Besides the ending, there's the older cook that likes the girls and stuff like that. I don't know why they wouldn't put that in a movie and make them the bad guys, because I think we could all agree, like, preying upon people of certain ages and stuff is just always wrong. I don't care where your moral compass lies. There's just certain things you don't do, and that's one of them. And I think that would be acceptable to put in a movie if it feels natural that it's bad and those guys get their comeuppance. There are many reasons why Sleepaway Camp won't be remade. Yeah, the ending with, what's her name, Angela, is a great twist. Do you really want to see a dong in a movie, though? I don't. The twist worked one time. You know that if they remake it, it's all going to be about the twist. It'll be like The Crying Game. I think you'd have to put that in another movie to catch people off guard. But nowadays, people wouldn't say, "Oh my God, that twist was crazy. I didn't see it coming." People are going to say, "Oh, it's a moment in history for these rights." It's like, fuck, can we not even make a movie that has a good twist? No, it's got to be politicized somehow. So, Dio Brando, there are so many ways that they could fuck up a Sleepaway Camp remake. Let's see. Logan Michael, do you have any Secret Wars figures? I don't. If I do pick any up, they got to be in mint condition in terms of paint. And I've never actually seen a mint condition one in person. If I found a full set for real cheap, I would not be opposed to owning them. It'd be a lot of fun to have on the shelf. But as of now, I don't own any, and maybe the Gentle Giant one's down the road. Who knows? Let's see. The Healthy Man, thank you for quoting Spider-Man. Panda, thank you very much for your super chat. Can you explain the Cecil thing? I'm out of the loop. Cecil is a friend of the High Council who pops in, who's, comedic relief. Some people love him, some people hate him. I think Cecil works best when there's not a lot to talk about, but tonight is probably going to be the most jam-packed episode of the High Council ever. And I mean that. We have to discuss the Kathleen Kennedy situation. We have to talk about the stuff we've covered, hypothetically, the future, stuff like that. So Cecil is just a joke. He's like Gary or whatever from Howard Stern. He just pops up every once in a while as a joke, and you hear his ice clink. He's a gimmick. He appears over on the Cancer Cast with Nurkish, so if you really want to check him out. Thing is, Cecil's not as dumb as people want to make him out to be. Cecil actually has some really good points to make, but he's not a Star Wars fan, and the flow of the show is definitely a Star Wars fan's paradise in terms of the amount of knowledge that appears on the show. So maybe Cecil will appear, maybe not. I don't know yet. I haven't decided if Cecil's going to show up or not. It'll all be and no fake Cecil, only real Cecil. Remember, fake Cecil is property of world-class bullshitters. And actually, that was a joke come up with by Kendo. Nobody even knew it was really going to happen. He's just like, hey, I got an idea. And then, a lot of people rebelled against it, but no, don't worry. Real Cecil can't be replaced. So that's a long way of telling you, Panda, about that. None of the people in the inner circle or House of Disney want to replace Kennedy out of respect amongst peers. I get it. But she's done such a bad job, and she doesn't seem like a nice person. So I want her out. You guys want her out. We want better Star Wars. Nurkish is banned again, huh? Well, Nurkish won't be here, I guess, because he doesn't fit in either with the High Council too much. Ray Dawn, thank you very much for your super chat. Have you seen YouTubers David Stewart or the Anti-Trekkers Last Jedi review worth checking out? I follow David Stewart. I followed David Stewart for a long time. I like him. We spoke years ago about getting together, and it just didn't happen. The schedules didn't work. It wasn't when I was doing the channel full time type of thing. But I'm pretty sure that there's no bad feeling towards David Stewart and World Class Bullshitters, and he's more than welcome to come on. I would definitely love to bring that level of intelligence to the show, the High Council, or a World Class Bullshitters or something. It'd be very interesting. He has a great video on, was it Bolshevik marketing? And, if you watch his video and all my toy videos, you can get like the whole story of the Star Wars merchandise fiasco that's currently going on. So, Ray Dawn, I do know about David Stewart, not Anti-Trekker. Maybe I have watched Anti-Trekker's video and I just haven't followed the channel proper. But those are people that I definitely think are worth the time. I don't necessarily need the flash and pizzazz of like a Logan Paul type of character or just shit that makes you laugh for 5 minutes. When it comes to something like a Star Wars, you do need entertainment in the way it's delivered, but the message has to be well thought out and produced. And I think David Stewart definitely has that. Rendar Smith, please have Razor Fist on the High Council. I love Razor Fist. I'll talk to him today. I'll message him and be like, hey, can you come on the High Council? And then I'll get, the next time it's on World Class Bullshitters, I'll try to get Razor Fist and or David Stewart. So Razor Fist is a cool dude. He's very cordial. He's very nice. I know he's fun on his show, and he's very much like that. He's a very genuine guy, but he's very nice off air to me. So I respect it. There's a level of respect with Razor Fist, and I think he appreciates coming on the show. Logan Michael, say what you want about Ray Stevenson's Punisher, but he does look like the Punisher from the Warzone comics. Very true. He does look like that. I think he's my least favorite because the movie's absolute dog shit. So maybe he's a victim from just, being in a bad movie, and maybe he's better than I'm giving him credit for. I've seen Punisher Warzone twice, and I'll never watch it again. Hey, it was directed by a woman. That's awesome. She didn't do a good job, but there's your diversity quota. For anyone that says, what superhero movie's been directed by a woman? The Punisher, Warzone. Let's see. We had a couple more super chats. Dio Brando, thank you very much. Have you seen that interview where Kathleen Kennedy sits down and says she doesn't think about the decision she makes? I have not seen that. The only Kathleen Kennedy thing I usually think about is when she says, well, the older male demographic is not who I'm worried about catering to. Well, like Grace Randolph said in her video, by not catering to them, you're not catering to Star Wars fans. Who cares who your audience is? As long as you have an audience, you should be thankful. Like, Kathleen, you didn't even build Star Wars. You weren't there in the beginning. That was all on George Lucas and Gary Kurtz and the people behind the scenes of that first movie that made it. She's not entitled to shit. She didn't build Star Wars. She just got the job by a fluke. Yeah, she was involved with Lucasfilm and Steven Spielberg early on, but remember, she's not part of the creative aspect of any of those movies. So, I think the only thing that needs to be decided is either fire her today or tomorrow and make sure it's a swift kick in the ass when you slam the door, too. Like, goodbye, Kathleen Kennedy. We really, as Star Wars fans, I'll speak for a lot of people, we really will benefit from her being gone. She has not brought anything. For any of these people on Twitter that say she brings a nice feminine touch to Star Wars appealed to women for 40 years before this chick came in. Please don't give me that garbage. Tell me something positive that she's created and brought to the lore that will stand the test of time, and then maybe I'll rethink it, but she still's got to go. One good thing doesn't outweigh the fucking 3 years of negativity brought down on Star Wars fans. And if you think the first 3 years of this bad, people don't forget. The internet doesn't forget. It's going to get worse down the road if they keep her around because people are going to get fed up with her shit. So she's got to be going soon. I mean, there's no way a company would be this loyal to one person who hasn't even produced. All the goodwill from The Force Awakens is what made it all that money. Like, all the goodwill from the previous Star Wars movie, all that nostalgia bucks, that's what they cashed in on The Force Awakens. Then when we got to see a taste of what Disney Star Wars is after they used the nostalgia bucks one more time on The Last Jedi, or the Rogue One movie, we've seen a big decline. The nostalgia bucks didn't work for Solo, and it sure shit isn't going to work with Episode 9, folks. Do not forget Solo. Charming Curmudgeon, Spectacular Spider-Man Magazine #2, November 1968 is one of my favorite Spider-Man stories. Great story and art, too. I know that story well because John Romita is my favorite artist. So I love that era of Spider-Man. I love talking about comic book art, especially John Romita and 60s Spider-Man. Holy shit, is that awesome. Lord Jeff, request to set image to Uncle Ethan's glorious toe thumbs. Maybe I don't have a picture of his toe thumbs. British Metalworks, thank you very much for your super chat. World Class Bullshitters, can you please do me a solid on the High Council? Remind EVS he owes me a my left foot drawn Vader picture. I spent 220 pounds on his pun. He promised. Hold on, let me take a screenshot on my phone of that, and I will do my best to remember. You know, I will remember it. I don't even want to tell you. I'll try to. If I'm on the air and I don't bring it up in the first hour, shoot me a tweet or a message over on our Facebook page, and I will bring this up. You can just say, hey, you took a picture of it on your phone this morning, and I'll go into my gallery, and I will make sure I read it. Because if you guys are spending that kind of money on us, we have to, follow up on that. I'm not going to... that's not how we operate on World Class Bullshiters. It's not how Ethan operates either. He's been really busy, but I'll make sure he gets that message from you. And thank you for your super chat. Respect Whammon, favorite John Hughes movie? Breakfast Club, hands down. I love The Breakfast Club. Fantastic story, stands the test of time. Very diverse cast. They're all white kids, but they come from really different backgrounds. If you made that today, you'd have to hear the immigrant story and this and that and racism and that stuff like that. And that's fine. Maybe that's where we live in 2018. But the 1984 version speaks to people on a different level, and it will continue. And no matter what color you are, you can appreciate The Breakfast Club. As we're closing out, Logan Michael, thank you very much. Worst Star Wars toy line besides 2015 to now? Ooh, okay. Good way to close it out, unless we get any more. The worst Star Wars toy line besides the new version. Oh, we got another one. Sorry, this isn't going to close out the show. Worst Star Wars toy line? Probably the Rebels toys, because they're really oddly designed. Well, no, you said 2015, so that won't count. Power of the Jedi was better. I'll go with Episode 1. They kind of made figures off everybody, and they looked good. And they did introduce some new articulation and stuff like that. But I don't like I just don't like the toy line. Now, they really fixed it up with Power of the Jedi, and then I guess it was the Saga Legends line in 2002. That was a good toy line. Yeah, I'll go with episode 1's toy line for the shittiest. Or if you want to do those Power of the Force 2 pack-ins where they had like a special thing. British Metalworks, thank you again for your super chat. Here's another £5 to remind you. Tell him it's the physicist. Keep it up. It's your turn for my bucks. Well, thank you very much, British Metalworks. I appreciate that you have gone out of your way to super chat me twice, and I'm taking 2 pictures to remind myself. And hold on, before I read the next super chat, let me write this on my calendar. British Metalworks. I try to keep the personal touch here on World Class Bullshitters and EVS. There we go. So I wrote that down in front of me. Let's see. Great Loner. Morning, Jeff. For your comic collection, singles, paperback, or hardcovers? Ooh, good question. I love talking about my comic book collection. All 3. In terms of my Amazing Spider-Man run, single issues only. Got to have them in the best condition I can afford. Now, do I have the money for mint condition issues of like number 50? No. Well, I could spend all the money I can get my hands on and blow it on a comic book, but that'd be stupid. But in terms of that ideal situation is best condition single issues. In terms of stories, I don't care about as much. If I want to read an entire story arc that came out years ago, I will just pick up the trade of it. So, for example, I'm not saying I dislike the story, but like the Dark Phoenix saga. I love the Dark Phoenix saga, but I just want to read that, and I don't feel the need to go back and pick up all the issues of X-Men. You get the reprint quality, you get the cleaned up art. John Byrne's stuff just stands the test of time thanks to Terry Austin's inks, and that's how I like to do that. And then hardcovers for Marvel Masterworks, I like to, but I like to do hardcovers for like a series that I'm going to get all the hardcovers for. Nothing bothers me more than having paperbacks that go into hardcovers and stuff like that. I want a nice uniform look. So thank you, Great Loner, for your super chat, and tell me how you do your collection. J.G. Wentworth, please spend time talking and not just reading super chats tonight on the High Council. Well, they're going to come in, and I'm going to read the super chats. I'm not going to lie, because it would be disingenuous to people that have spent their money to have their voices heard. But when I take control of it, if you go back and listen to the Mauler, Retro Blasting, and Razor Fist thing, we do it in cycles. So don't worry. The super chats are going to come. Want them to come in. It's my week. It'd be crappy if my week, we're going to pass this week and go to the next week. I'm the week, and I'm the guy that's going to make sure I read all of your super chats and get to your things. Now, I am going to let there be portions of the show that are the show, because I know how the flow goes. Believe me, I know when I'm reaching the end of my flow. I know when World Class Bullshitters is reaching its end. Don't worry. There will be super chats read. There's going to be a lot of them. And people do deserve to have their voices heard. But by the same accord, we are an entertainment show, and I will do my best to make sure that everyone's read and the show has a flow to it. So don't worry, JG Wentworth. Call 877-CASH now. Watch the show tonight. It's going to be a great one. Dio Brando, thank you again for your super chats. And as you too, JG Wentworth, you guys are both very generous. I think it was in an entertainment. The interview was a very ass-kissing interview, praising her for being a female in charge of a big company, and they're asking her what it's like to do her job. Well, Brando, now I got to look this up. When I get home this afternoon, I might try to check it out. See, future generations should look at the way that media is run and the way Kathleen Kennedy is handled with certain ways and just not do that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people just don't care about what it's like to do Kathleen Kennedy's job. I don't think people care about her day-to-day processes. I think what people care about is the end results. And like they say in Samurai Cop, we want results. We want results as fans, and we're not getting the results that we want, and then we're voicing our displeasure. Not a sexist statement. It's just we don't like what we're getting, and fix that shit. British Metalworks, thank you again. Here's another £5. I respect people that take notes. Death by Trebuchet for Communist Star Wars. Oh, okay. There we go. Sorry, it took me a second to realize that. Still kind of tired here. No, I do take notes on everything. Who gives a shit? But I have a notebook for the Ethan Van Sciver. The first time we ever met, I took like 6 pages of notes because I wanted to bring my A game to that. So I take notes for a lot of stuff. There's a lot of videos when you guys want me to do reviews of certain videos. I take notes while watching them. I went to college. It's not about bragging that I went to college, just how I was taught to do things. So if you guys appreciate the way the show's run, thank you, college education. Let's just hope I can find a way to pay back those loans, because college debt sucks ass. It has really slowed down a lot of progress in my life. So That's why I'm going to grow this channel so I can get out of college debt and move on and move forward and not be stuck where I am. But would I change it? No, not for the world. Learned a lot, made my best friends in college. My college experiences have really helped form this show. So thank you again, British Metalworks. Logan Michael, worst Rob Liefeld comic. Thank you for your super chat. All the Rob Liefeld comics suck. Well, he's gotten better with age in terms of art, but overall, I would say Rob Liefeld is a bad comic book artist. And I know some people say, oh, he created this and that. Yeah, he was involved with the creation of Deadpool and Cable and all these other things. But at the end of the day, Rob Liefeld can't draw feet, and it's awesome that they made fun of it in Deadpool. That shit makes me laugh. Shmaniac, I like the 2003 TMNT cartoon quite a bit. So, folks, we are at the end of Good Morning Pop Culture. It's been a great episode. I'd like to personally thank everyone who watched. Thank you to everyone who sent in a super chat question. Thank you to everyone who didn't but still had a question read, because thank you for being interesting. As you guys know, if you're a fan of this, just share it, give it a thumbs up, smash that like button, as Jeremy said, and do what you can to help the channel grow. I always say this on all the videos. It's great if you can be a part of the Patreon or you send in a super chat. That really helps out. It gives us a reason. But if you're not able to do that, that's fine. It doesn't make you any less of a world-class bullshitters fan. It doesn't make me appreciate or respect you any less. It just, the super chats and stuff pop up, and it helps us do shit and buy stuff for the channel. But as long as you guys are here, I appreciate it just as much. So thank you to... This has been a very consistent show this morning. Very good numbers. Thank you to everyone who stuck around with us all morning. And I'll be back tonight. So do not forget about the High Council tonight on World Class Bullshitters, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be me. It's going to be Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. It's going to be Ethan Van Skyver. And it's going to be our weekly guest this week. It's Doomcock. I will be in contact with Razorfist. If you guys want to send a tweet to Razorfist and say, hey, can you be on the High Council in 3 weeks? I will contact him privately tonight. If he gets a lot of messages like, High Council, what's the High Council? I got to be on the High Council type of thing. If we can give him a 3-week notice, we can make it happen. I know you guys want to hear me talk to Razorfist and all kinds of people like that. So all you got to do, thank you, Logan Michael. I will have a good one. And I appreciate all that you've done for the channel. And I can't wait to talk about toys with you on Wednesday night. But no, we'll get all the fans and all the requests you guys want. You just got to let us know. You got to let them know and give us the right time, and we can make anything happen here on the channel. Make sure that you come back tomorrow for our Patreon hangout. If you're a patron, make sure you take in that benefit. You will enjoy it. You'll get to hang out with fans of the show, talk to me about anything you guys want, and it can go on for hours. I basically make the thing live, and you guys have control of the topics, and I just bounce off of you guys. So thank you for watching This Morning in Pop Culture, aka Good Morning Pop Culture. Believe me, we're going to call it Good Morning Pop Culture. And have a good afternoon. And if anything crazy from Star Wars comes out, you know I'll be back here to talk about it. So, God damn it, the healthy man, organic webbing or web shooters? I prefer organic webbing because it adds to Spider-Man having spider powers. I like both. I don't really care as long as it makes sense to the story. There are certain things about being a purist that are good, and there are certain things about being a purist that are bad. Organic webbing doesn't make the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films any less Spider-Man films. They're the best Spider-Man films. I'll stand by that. The first two, double thumbs up from Jeff of World Class Bullshitters. So, guys, have a good day. Ladies, have a good day. Friends of the show, have a good day. And don't forget about us tonight.